All right. Oh, all right. All right. I think we are live. Yep. Yep. All right. Cool. Sweet. Oh man. All right, everyone. Hopefully everyone's having a good day so far. Oh man. Sorry we took the week off. No, the day off last Saturday because it was Lunar New Year and like my parents wanted to celebrate, and I know Grae was trying to celebrate too. Grae's gonna be a little bit late. I think he's on his way right now. But yo, what's going on? 3PO, how's it going? What's going on, Jay? Hope you're having a good day so far. Um, yeah, I what's it called again? We popped by your stream earlier today, and man, a lot of cool stuff about like Splash Mountain and stuff. But yeah, late late and Eggroll. Yo, what's going on, Anthony? How's it going? But yes, so while we wait for Grae, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about a little bit about my background because I'm not sure if Jay's still in the chat, 3PL is still in the chat, but uh, I between 2007 and 2008, I worked at Disneyland, and I actually applied. I think I was in junior college, and then I think they had like a college program person at my school. I was attending Mount San Antonio College. It's in Southern California, and I think they had like one of those college recruiters on campus. And I was like, like I didn't know what I was gonna do in college, so I'm like, I might as well apply. Long story short, I was able to get the quote unquote college program. They consider it an internship, but you actually work like 40 hours, which is crazy. And you work 40 hours for like the first 3 months while you're there. But I was actually able to get what's it called again? A ride operator position and in Tomorrowland, and they gave me Finding Nemo. I didn't really like that ride because there was a lot of there's you were standing outside the majority of the time. I actually got pretty damn tanned, and I was when we actually drive submarine, which is pretty crazy because it was used to be 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or something, or 30,000 League. I forgot. I think it's called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and they revamped it for Nemo, and it was I was working there for probably about a year. Right afterwards, I quit. I think ever since they took away because when you first start as a college program student slash I guess intern, you're actually given the opportunity to they give you, I think, 3 year seniority, so you actually get like really good scheduling, and HR will actually schedule your times and stuff, and then once your time is done, like your first 3 months of they give you 3 months of like 3 year seniority, and once after your 3 months is done, you go back to zero seniority, and it sort of sucks. So I started getting like really bad, like terrible night shifts, and what they will usually give me is like night, like late closing shifts, and then early morning shifts, which sucks. And but yeah, but during my time there, I actually really enjoyed it. After a while, I think after like 6 months, they cross train you to another attraction, and you actually are able to choose. And I didn't choose Space Mountain because Space Mountain is considered an attraction 3, which is like you need to it has to be your third attraction in order for you to get cross trained there. So I got cross trained at Star Tours, and the thing is, I loved working at Star Tours, and actually seeing like Admiral Akbar up in the top. So this is before they completely redid the whole Star Tours attraction, and I loved working there. That actually had like the outfit that I was wearing actually looks a lot like the costumes they actually were using in what's it called again? Andor. Yeah, I worked at SeaWorld for a few years. It's crazy how theme parks run you over. Yeah, it's insane. Like you get paid very damn little. Like I was getting paid like $6.75, and that was considered minimum wage. And I think like every year you work there subsequently, they give you like a 5-10 cent 10 cent like increase or something. There we go. We have Grae. All right.
Hello. Yes. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I was just talking my time at Disneyland, and because
okay.
yeah, like I stopped by what's it called again? Drunk 3PO stream earlier today, and he was talking about the Splash Mountain stuff, and it's just when I was talking about when I was working there, I was able to work at Finding Nemo as a ride operator, and then what's it called again? Star Tours as a ride operator. But when I was working there, I actually every time I go into work, I felt the magic. Right, whenever you go into Disneyland, whenever you go in and then you go under the bridge, like you actually go in and you feel the magic. And the thing is, the cool thing about Disneyland, the one in Anaheim, is the only theme park that Walt actually was able to walk through. Right, Walt wasn't alive when Epcot and all the Disney World stuff was done. I think it was in the midst of building when he was still alive. So um, but over the course of several years, it started to the magic started to fade. It didn't feel like Disney anymore. I think the first time it didn't feel like Disney, even though when I worked there, I get to see all the stuff that's behind the scenes, all the stuff that's actually like the quote unquote how the magic is made. I think when it started feeling a little different was probably around 2000. I think 2012, 2011, 2012. And during this time, I was actually working at Universal Studios because I actually in 2000,
Okay.
2007, 2008, like around there, I worked at Disney. And then in 2000, after I quit, the following year, I worked at Universal. I stayed at Universal for actually 4 years.
Mm.
Universal was actually, in my opinion, was more relaxed, and people were a
Yeah.
little bit more. People were actually nicer, and there wasn't actually as much people as there was.
Yeah.
And
I get that for sure. Yeah. When I graduated, like I worked for this international bank. Then I moved to well, not really a competitor, another region, and it's a lot more friendlier for sure. So I definitely
Mhm.
get that.
Yeah. And it's I think it might have been when Disney started to change and started to buy out all these other companies. I think what happened in 2011, 2012. Uh I think that's when Marvel got bought out by Disney. And I think during this time they already acquired Star Wars, like Lucasfilms. And like me going there, like attending, because I still have a lot of friends that will actually give me like they sign me in at the front door. They call it the main entrance pass. I actually might still have mine. Right, here's my like badge at right here's my Universal name tag.
Oh, okay.
Right, here's my Universal name tag. Like I think I got this one. This is I'm not sure you can see that. It's like this is like all worn out. This is like a Disney
Yeah, I
college
can still see it.
program. Yes, it's
Oh,
a
okay.
college program. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
was
I
part of
can
the
see
college
it.
program. Yeah, this is like what's it called again? A the business card holder. And like I think the first thing where I'm like, well, they're changing so many things. They're changing so many things. I think the first major thing that I was sort of against was the changing of the Red Woman in Pirates of the Caribbean. They're like, oh, we have to change hers because I think the women were being sold off, right? It's like the pirates got them, like, showed her your larboard side, and then there's like the big woman turns and stuff like that. And then you have and then he's like, no, we wants the redhead, and then there's like the hot like red dress woman in the back. And I guess they said that, oh, that's the male gaze. And after, like, it's sort of like that's when you sort of have like the inkling of like some SJW shit already happening, right?
Yeah.
And then after a while, they ended up, for me, I like the original. I like the original. I think that was fun. And but they like, oh, we're gonna change it to a redhead. It's actually like she's like a pirate captain instead. So it's to not make her look like she's being sold off. It's because this is bad. It looks bad on Disney. So and they're like, oh, it's fine. This is something small. And I think there's some people who are against it. I was one of the people who's like, if you're gonna remove it, I guess, it's not like something that I'm not gonna fight for or anything like that. And then hearing that, oh, we're gonna start like moving forward, you're hearing like, oh, we're gonna remove all these like racist things that Disney did. We're gonna remove all these things that was history and stuff. And then hearing several years ago, I think it was like 2018, hearing that they're thinking about removing Splash Mountain, right? It's because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
racist. It's from Song of the South. And the thing is that during 2018, 2019, what happened? Right? It was dumb. Yeah. Yeah, like what happened with Disney? I think during that time there was talks that Disney was going to buy Fox, and during this time, I was working at Fox. Well, I was under Fox, and then I'm like, oh no. So I've been hearing a lot of these murmurs that's within the company, hearing that they're going to change all these things to like I heard about Disney Plus before it was even announced. They're like, oh, the reason why we're trying to have this Disney Plus thing is because um the combined income of all four parks, right? No, all the parks that's in the two parks that's in California, the four parks that's in Florida. You have Shanghai, and you have Disney Shanghai, Disney Hong Kong, Tokyo Sea. I think it's like partnership. You don't really get, but all the theme park money that Disney makes is equivalent to 1 month of Netflix salary, the revenue that they get. So that's a shit ton of money. So that's why Kevin Mayer, who is in charge of Disney's direct to consumer, which is under the Disney Plus, which is what Disney Plus is under, which is what we were sold off to, right? We were actually going to be part of Kevin Mayer, which is like Peter Rice. I was under Peter Rice. So if you don't know who that is, I talked about it on my my stream. He was my boss's boss, right? I actually met him. Peter Rice was super cool. We actually had this thing called Town Hall, where it was when we were at Fox, we invited Cold Iron Studio and a bunch of other studios from the Bay, and then we have our Fox Next studio. We met in Marina Del Rey, and we met with Peter Rice. We met with the two directors of Deadpool, and they were talking about it. And we also met like they're actually opening up a studio in Malaysia. Universal was actually going to open a studio up in Malaysia, and they canned it. Disney axed it is because they're like,
Okay.
well, we don't want that. And they already, I think Malaysia was going to get a huge like tourism, like a lot of people were going to come in. Well, a lot of people were super super excited. I was like, oh shit, you're going to have an Ice Age thing. You're going to have I think there was like there was actually a concept. There's like Predator. I think there's some alien stuff. It's going to be a little bit more mature. It was so cool. Eggroll. yo, hope you're doing well, Jay. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, there, like, it was super cool. Like, I saw the concept of it, and I was super hyped. I was like, oh, I'm actually part of the Disney, not Disney, the Fox family. And then the cool thing was Peter Rice was actually able to have Ryan Reynolds make us like a sort of like a video for us. So he actually talked to us. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Fox Next, you guys are great. And then they talked about how they Ryan Reynolds was able to convince people at the top of Fox to make the movie. And if you actually look at one of the trailers so I work on that game, right? Marvel Strike Force.
Mhm.
We actually had Ryan Reynolds. We did like this crazy like a marketing thing with Deadpool when we announced Deadpool. And what happened was that Ryan Reynolds did the voice for our Deadpool that's in our game. It was actually super freaking sick.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're able to get like a voice snippet of him, and they're like, keep this hush hush because like it's gonna be super super cool. So I was super excited, and then I'm like, okay, you're gonna be bought up by Disney. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, right? I knew it was gonna happen. I wasn't a big fan of Disney absorbing Fox. I actually hated the idea. It's because you're going from what, like 12 to 14 like movies that has to do with like maybe like 12. I think it's around 12 like superhero movies to like 6, right, in a year. So even though most of them are crap, like especially the ones that Fox comes out with, some of them are good. And I'm like, this merger is gonna suck. And then when that happened, and then Disney acquired a bunch of other stuff, but knowing Disney, they're terrible at video games. They ended up
Mhm.
selling us off to Scopely, so that's where I am now. But I think hearing all of these things and like behind the scenes, like, oh yeah, we're actually going to be changing Splash Mountain to what's it called again, Princess and the Frog, and then I'm like, that
Sorry,
sucks, right?
change it to what?
So they're changing the theme, right? The ride's still going to be the same. It's still going to have the drops and stuff like that. So Splash Mountain is going to be they don't call it we always call it retheming, right? When you worked at the park.
Okay.
So they're retheming Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog theme. Is
Okay,
because
okay.
the Song of the South was super super racist, right? So like that's what they said. It's like the Song of the South is super racist, and the song that they're singing it's from that movie. Ergo, this ride is racist. And I've been hearing, like, I stopped by Drunk 3PO stream earlier today, and he was talking about how, like, there are people who are actually trying to ride it because they're going to close, and the people who wants to ride it are considered like
I watched that video.
like MAGA
Yep.
people, like insurrectionists. And I forgot there was I saw this like stupid, like so someone posted a Splash Mountain, whenever you go down the log ride, they actually take a
Actually,
picture of you, right?
when I watched that video, I checked my actually, I was on it way long ago. Give me a moment.
Yeah. So you said so TLOU said, I think it was funny that Disney nicknamed their plus the idea that they call it the Disney the Netflix code.
It's kind of dusty now. I think this is it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was on it way long ago. So these are my cousins. They're now married and with kids. It's me in the middle, in the very middle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wrote it way back. I don't remember anymore because I was like probably 4, 5, or 6. But yeah, I was on it. I was on Splash Mountain. Yeah.
So they're basically retheming it. So they're gonna change it now, and it's at that exact picture. Like they basically swapped out all the characters for like Hitler. I think one of them is Donald Trump, Tucker Carlson, and like basically all these like big conservative Republican type folks is because, and the reason why is because they don't want to get rid of it is because the people who doesn't want to retheme it are racists, like islamophobes and stuff like that. And the thing is that, like, whenever I go to Disneyland, like within the past 5 years, like even when I was when we were sold out to Disney, and I was a Disney employee for like, I was a Disney employee again for like about 6-7 months, and we got the silver pass, right? I still have it at my desk. Like, I actually have the silver pass. Let me actually go get it really quick so I can show you.
Yeah, interesting. Yes. So yeah, when because this term Splash Mountain was it's so familiar. It's like I think I've been there before. Then when I checked this, it's the one. It's the ride where you go slide and they'll take a picture of you. Then what do you call this? Yeah, then when you get down, there'll be a huge amount of water splashing in you. But yeah, I think at the time it was really a novelty. Taking pictures when you're in the middle of the ride, which is fairly common now in theme parks. I think it's in almost all, if not most of the rides.
Yeah,
but yeah,
so,
back in the day, it was kind of like the pioneer, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, so here's my ID, right? So you can see. So this was back in what 2019. Wait, 2019, 2020. So that's my ID. So they give you the ID, and this is the main entrance pass right here. So this is the one I can bring 3 people in. So like if I go in, I can bring like 3 people in. So so we were able to get this, and even though the fact that I got these, the magic was still gone for me. It still felt like this is just a theme park, another theme park now. And even though when we went to because during that time our game got nominated for I forgot, I think Pocket something, some kind of video mobile app award, right? And we were nominated for like best live ops or something. So my company gave me and a bunch of the other people from live ops to go to London. And then me during that time we were there for a week, and then we had like 2 to 3 days like break that we can do whatever we want. So we took a trip to Disney Paris. And even going there, like even at a different park, the magic was it didn't feel like it was there anymore. You just feel like you're going to another park, and it's I don't know. I'm more of a fan of like Universal now. Like even though I did also work at Universal,
Yeah,
I think the theming of I think ever since the theming of Harry Potter, the first time I went to Hogwarts was in Florida back in 2011, when I think they had it before California had it, and it was so cool. Like I'm just like, holy crap! This actually feels like I'm in Hogwarts, like I'm in Hogsmeade. when you go, and the theming was so good. I'm like, this rivals or is even better than Disney, in my opinion. I'm like, this is great. And then when I was working there, like I worked at T2, so I worked at Terminator 2, the 3D show,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I worked on that. And then they wanted to actually cross train me to Simpsons. I'm like, no thanks. All I did was just stand there at the theater, grab the glasses, and then sort the glasses and wash the glasses and go back. And basically that's what I do. And the thing is that, like, and that's the reason why I stayed at Disneyland. I worked at Disneyland for a year, and then I worked at Universal for 4 years, because 2 years I was actually working at T2. The other 2 years I auditioned to become the Mummy, which is they used to have a year-round attraction called the House of Horrors, and I auditioned to play the Mummy so I could scare people, and that was fun. Scaring people for a living is super fun.
Yeah.
Are you still working on video games? Yeah, I'm still actually on Marvel Strike Force right now. It's a mobile game, so that's why I have that poster over there. Like, I'm actually a senior artist, so I do a bunch of like character posing, iconography. Like almost every art that's in the game is done by me or my team that I work with. So like all the key art and stuff like that. So I work on that, and then the concept artists work on other stuff. So I work primarily in 3D and 2D at the same time. But yeah, the magic's gone. Magic's long gone, and that's why, for me, when I heard that Nintendo Land was coming to, when I heard Nintendo Land launched in Japan, I'm like, this is gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. Like I wanted a Nintendo Land for such a long time as a kid, and even when I worked at Disney, I was like, why the hell don't we have a Nintendo Land? I was like, just have a land like a Disneyland, but Nintendo themed. The main castle, instead of Cinderella Castle, Peach's Castle, you have the jungle area, and you can have a minecart ride. That would be Donkey Kong. You can have a Mario Kart ride that's going to be like Autopia. You're driving little carts or something like that. Maybe it's a little faster. You're on a track and you actually press buttons. You go over like these like question boxes, and like that'll be super cool. They let you against woke things. They don't know I do this podcast. But the thing is that
it should be fine.
They're mostly fine, is because like we are a vendor for Marvel, right? We work on a game that, like, we're partner with Marvel, right? So like whenever we design something, we send them over this the art stuff, and then they approve of it and they send it back. And I think that's about it. Like, we try, it's own thing, right? We do try to implement some MCU stuff, but I don't work with I don't work for Marvel. I work with them. So like we're like a company that they outsource their games to. Yeah. But what's it called again? So like I was super hyped when Nintendo Land was announced for California. I'm like, holy crap, that's gonna be huge. And like even right now, I know there's like a soft opening right now for I think Nintendo Land doesn't open until like February 10th or something. And so right now there's a soft opening. They're doing like technical technical stuff, right? So like make sure everything's working. So I believe like a bunch of my friends who are still there, they went to like a soft opening of it. They went to employee night, and I feel like Universal is eventually going to like top Disney. It's like, what else does Disney have, right? I believe what's it called again? The whole thing with the Galaxy Cruiser in Florida, in Orlando. Mm-hmm. Like I remember I was listening to Drunk 3PO's what's it called again? Drunk 3PO's videos, and he mentioned that like the Galactic Star Cruisers are like they're basically like not booked at all. And when the first time I saw the designs, I'm like, this could be really cool, right? It just feels like when you go inside the hotel, when you go inside like the space area, it feels like you're in space. It feels like you're in some kind of galactic cruiser. You're in the universe of Star Wars, and that could be really sick, right? When you go to bed, you wake up, you open your window, all you see is space. Maybe you see like the Death Star, Alderaan, or whatever. So like Tatooine or whatever, right? I thought that could be really cool like, and I also saw the concept. This concept looks really good until I saw the what what you bought on Amazon and what you bought on Wish, right? Right. It's sort of like what we got was the Wish.com version of what was in the concept. The concept looks really good, but the Wish.com version, which is the one that's actually over there, it just looks like a generic room with just some space theme stuff, and they're charging people how much a night? It was like
I think
like three.
6,000.
Yeah, I think it's like a family of four, like between like
Yeah, for
$3,000 to
six.
$4,000, like for the cheapest one. And I'm like, that's not worth it. That's absolutely not worth it. Oh, sorry, Fat Thumbs. They let you talk about anti-woke things. Thank you, got it. Yeah, but for me, I'm just like, I think it's over for Disney in terms of like them being like the top dog. And with the whole thing with like Ron DeSantis in Florida, like if Grae, if you didn't know, like I think ever since the 50s or the 60s when it started there, right?
They're exempt from taxes, right?
Yeah, they have their own like special taxes because it's considered like, I think I mentioned this before. They're considered like a Vatican, right? They have their own like it's so big, like they have their own like area where they're exempt from a bunch of stuff. So ever since Bob Chapek bent the knee to a bunch of these activists, right? Like Ron DeSantis like, oh, you're guests in our state, so we're going to like
we're gonna tax you now.
They're gonna tax you regularly now, So yeah, but yeah, man, how have you been, dude?
Yeah, I've been good. I've been making videos for the channel.
So you're up to date with Velma, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I actually can't recall what happens in episode 3, but I think I do. But yeah, I wasn't able to collate some pictures this time, so I'm gonna just try to recall in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I don't remember what actually happened. Okay, so episode 3 was, I think, it's sort of like what Velma and Daphne is sort of like, there's this tension, the sexual tension between them,
yeah.
right? And then they're not sure if they like each other or not. And then at the end, it's like, I still like Fred. I'm just like, okay. And then I think episode 4 is like they wrestle.
Yeah. No. That's episode 3. Episode 3 is episode 3. The worst part is for me is the part where Velma exposed Daphne's diary in front of everyone.
That's stupid.
Yeah, it's like, that's incredible. Like, it doesn't. You couldn't do a more douchebaggy move for anyone at school.
Yeah,
like that's not something you're supposed to expose. But it's like, hey, look at me. I'm such a.
It's sort of
I'm
like
such a goat for exposing Daphne's secret.
Yeah, it feels like she becomes the bully.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like she becomes everything she hates, right? And as episode, especially episode 4, 5, and then 6, right? Like all the episodes, like it just seems like she's extremely insecure with herself. And I think I think someone mentioned it. I think maybe in someone in chat or one of the commenters on the one of the shorts you made. I think it's she might have gotten like rejected at one time by like a extremely attractive person like that's white, and she's using her platform as a way to sort of come out and say, you know what, like just because I'm you think I'm ugly, you think I'm this, you think I'm whatever, and I'm just gonna poke fun of you. And then of course they she quote unquote uses this book to brainwash Fred in one of the episodes.
Yeah.
And now like he becomes a male feminist. It's like he becomes like even more of a beta than he was before, right? Is that what happened?
Yeah, and so all of a sudden he turns to 180, is simping all over Velma in episode 5. I think it was 5.
It was super weird. He's like, and he talks about like, oh, the gender pay gap, the 20% thing, and he's like, oh, I wouldn't have done this. I'm just like, oh my God, you need to stop. You need to stop. It's like, as a male feminist, this is how I think. I'm like, here's the thing. It's funny. I think that I don't think it's funny like haha. I think it's funny and ironic is because how she's making fun of Fred is actually how we perceive a lot of these male feminists to be, right? There's just like, you're saying all these things, but the reason why you're saying all these things is not because you actually believe what you actually say. It's because you want to sleep with the girl. And it's extremely disingenuous to women, right? It's just so like, oh, the reason why, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Can we have sex? Can I kiss you? Right? And of course later on, like, because he becomes a male feminist, that's when Velma is like, I'm actually not attracted to you anymore. Right? So it's because she's attracted to the I don't care about you, the whole like, oh, I'm better than you type of person, right? It's because he was less of a beta when he wasn't brainwashed with that book. So like, he's like, I'm gonna kiss you, and he's like, okay, I'm actually not attracted to you anymore because you're even more of a beta than you were before.
Yeah, it's like
But
she wants to show us she's the dominating party all of a
mhm,
sudden. Yeah,
yeah,
it's really most apparent with episode 4. If with regards to her insecure, it's episode 4 as of now, as because it could get worse in the other episodes.
mhm,
It's episode 4 because the whole premise of it was just like validating Velma slash
yes,
Mindy Kaling. Because like it starts off with episode 4, right? We have another murder on the loose. Another victim is dead. They never even bothered to show the image of that dead person. Right? We don't know
mhm,
who that dead person is, who that dead person. At least in the first 2 murders, we saw how they looked like, who their names were. In episode
mhm,
4, we don't even know who she is. Like, oh, it's another murder, but we know it's hot girls. So
yeah,
now, yeah, then that's where it comes in, where the politics comes in. So all the white guys are supposedly going to protect the hot girls only. Then
mhm,
she's supposed to be choosing who's the hot girls are. Then that's
yeah.
where she inserts everything.
I forgot which episode it was, but it's the one where it's like, all right, since all the victims are hot girls, we need to have uggle lessons, right? So it's like, who's the ugliest, most unattractive person? You. We're gonna pick you. And I think this is where her insecurity comes out. Is because she probably felt like she was ugly, and no one wanted to date her probably in high school. And I have a feeling this is just like, I'm gonna write out like how I actually felt, and I'm gonna make sure, you don't have to look hot to make sure you impress guys and stuff like that. You have to make sure that you actually make your, like, people should like you for who you are, but not how you dress. And I think like that completely backfired on her, like in the show. It is because, yes, the thing is that if you're gonna if you're purposely gonna look unattractive, is and you're it's the thing is that you're changing, like even one of the girls made fun of her, like, you're basically telling me that I need to dress more ugly is so I don't get hit on. Is because so because it's for my safety, so I don't get killed, right? Like the whole underlining reason for them to tell her, hey, you should freaking do this and stuff, and it's because you don't get killed. But in actuality, she actually wants people to start dressing uglier, is because she feels like she's not good enough, right? Mindy Kaling, when she self inserts herself into that character, I have a feeling she just feels like no one's gonna look at me, is because I'm not hot, I don't have big boobs and stuff like that. Even one episode, she has to wear like these like bean bags to sort of like attract someone.
Yeah.
And I it really just shows, it feels like a cry for help, but it's more like, if you were like feeling that currently, it feels like a cry for help, where you're like, please, this is how I'm feeling, please, someone acknowledge me, someone please, like me for who I am. And but at the same time, I also need to tell straight white guys they're all trash. Men are trash, and I'm going to continue bashing them. And it's just it's so terribly written. It infuriates me that there's so many more episodes that we need to still watch. We still need to watch more episodes.
Imagine me making those shorts. I have to loop the video so many times just to
Mhm.
collate all those. Yeah,
Yeah,
do what I
but
gotta do.
yeah, what's it called again? I think I think it's also lazy writing too, right? It's like,
Mhm, mhm.
the whole thing. I think you highlighted it with the whole thing with, hey, the reason why Daphne's hair is orange is because her mom smoked a lot when she was pregnant, which stupid lazy writing,
Yeah,
because when her parents aren't like orange hair. Why is, oh, just because that's how science works, right?
Yeah, it's like a slap in the face in the source material. That short is composed of slapping, disrespecting the source material. That's why I named it insulting, because like it's really just trashing on the old stuff. Like, well, the biggest culprit is the Scooby Doo operation. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So what was the acronym for it?
SKOOBI. Okay, wait. Let me just loop through the short. Let me loop through the short that I made. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure several people in chat don't know what happens to Scooby, because why would they even bother to watch at this point, right?
Mhm.
Wait. Okay. Your channel shorts. Okay, let me see. Okay, going through it. Oops. Okay, okay, I want to fast forward, but okay, give me a moment. Yeah, I'm checking it again.
Yeah. And same thing with the whole Jinkies thing too. That thing is like,
Mhm.
oh, the reason why I'm gonna start saying it is because my mom said it, so I'm going to say it now. And it's yeah, it's sort of like, why can't just that just be her catchphrase? You know,
Yeah.
why do we have to actually have a backstory for every single little thing? You know, like you don't have to, you know, like like when Naruto says, you know, "Date Bayo," like that's just his catchphrase. Who cares? It's like, oh, the reason why I came out with Date Bayo is because what happened was Iruka Sensei said this shit, and then that's why I have to say it. And now that's the reason why I say it all the time. It's like, no, we need to hear that. We didn't hear no freaking backstory. Okay, all we need to hear is just continue with the good writing. Who cares? Not everything needs to be explained. Things could just go without being said.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, the acronym for Scooby is Special Covert Operations Brain Initiative. That's what it means.
Yeah, and like for me, is it just me, or is it also you? Like, I actually feel bad for Fred of like what he's going through, right? Like oh, first episode, you know, like they freaking first two episodes, you know, he's basically just you know, showing, like, I think Velma's basically showing him like, oh yeah, he's a man baby and he's privileged and he's white and that's the reason why he can get away with murder. He goes to jail, right? And because he's like, oh, it has to be him, right? And so basically, guilty until proven innocent. And then when he gets released from jail, like 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 Velma didn't even apologize or anything like that, right? She just
Yeah.
basically
No,
she didn't say anything.
nope.
Yeah, she didn't own up to any of her faults, and it's just like, oh, okay, all of a sudden, like when you really want this guy, and then now that he becomes sort of like an ultra beta male, you don't want him anymore because he's not himself. And it's sort of like he it's like you I have a feeling that like when pure evil feminists like her, like how they do it is, I want you to change only if you want to change, right? Oh, or you shouldn't change because you like a guy. They should like you for who you are, right? Because you get a lot of that. And then, oh, you should change because you're a terrible person, or you should change. You should. It's more like it feels like she's trying to manipulate her surroundings to benefit her, right? And and that's the reason why, like, and if it doesn't benefit you, then then I don't really care about you anymore. Like, and it's just this toxic femininity that that she's portraying in this show. I'm not sure if she knows, but the thing is that it's just it's so terribly written, and it's just like I remember watching an interview from her. I think it was on some kind of late night show, and I think like when she walked in, like she got like two claps. And it's just like, yeah, no one really cares about you, right? No one, like, it's like, oh, here, talk about your show and stuff like that. And this is, I believe this is recent, and I think it's like Seth Meyers or something. And she got like two claps, and no one basically is like, oh, everyone, Mindy Kaling, and then you hear like, and he's like, whoops, I clapped by accident, sorry. Like, and it's I I feel bad for her, but the thing is that and then after I watch the show and I don't feel bad about her, I don't feel bad for
Yeah.
her anymore. It's because she's just, people are just they have the opportunity to make something cool and they don't.
Yes.
And it's like like you have all these companies, like, you know, you have Disney, and you have like you know, people at Warner Brothers, you have people who has terrific IPs that just completely craps on everything that was good about it to sort of push a message, right?
Mhm.
It's, yeah, like, you know, you get the drinkers like the message. and
Yes.
and it's I I wonder when they're gonna wake up to, okay, yeah, this is not gonna work. We should go back. But do you think this, how long do you think this sort of like woke content will continue?
It's probably for at least 3 more years. That's my take. It's like right now they're I think this my thoughts is they're starting to feel the burn financially
Mhm,
because a couple like a decade ago it's like, oh, we still have this war chest to keep pushing these woke agenda. So it's still okay as long as we keep pushing and pushing. Eventually people will eat it up, which obviously has not worked because
mhm,
we're still calling it out up now. It just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. But the moment that they feel that it's starting to it's not financially viable anymore, I think that's when we'll get a turnaround. Kind of like Warner Brothers with
mhm.
David Zaslav right now. Like because he's cleaning house, right? Like okay, this is scrap, this is scrap. DCEU will get a reboot with James Gunn. Okay, Henry Cavill's out, even though a lot of people wanted to stay. Gal Gadot is out, Ben Affleck is out. But yeah, Ezra Miller is likely staying because
No.
until my thoughts is until the movie releases. The moment they get some ROI back from that movie, okay, okay, he's out, he's out. He's too much of a liability. I That's what I think. It'll be 1,000 times worse if they decide to if they decide to let him stay.
Hail chat, hail drunk. Happy Lunar New Year to Project Eggroll. Yo, Lost Hail, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Happy New Year
Yes.
to you too.
Happy New Year
Happy
too.
Happy Lunar New Year to you too. Um, what's it called again? I th- I I think, yeah, like the return on investment is definitely going to hit them really really hard. And you even hear like what Disney lost like what 123 billion dollars or something. A Strange World lost like 200 million dollars. It's because it didn't make any money. and and I have a feeling that like they're really really trying to bank on Marvel. They're trying to go really really hard on Marvel right now because all the other IPs aren't really working. You have Star Wars, who just has such a great like lineage and like legacy of how it is and how it was, and then it's sort of, you got to like The Last Jedi, sort of like crapped on everything.
Mm.
For the, the thing is, if they are going to move forward, are there, like, I know Andor was like really good like near the end. I actually did not get to finish Andor, which sort of sucks. I do really want to continue. I finished it, but I did not watch God, what's that? I did not watch Kenobi. I did not watch
Yeah, I didn't
uh
either.
the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
and
same.
I did watch Mandalorian season 2. I think the reason
I
why
watched portion of it. I didn't finish it though. I didn't finish it yet.
yeah, like I did watch it. Okay, but I don't know. I have this and this is not just because Jay is in the chat. Um but some drunk guy sent me here. But what's it called again? I I'm not sure if you felt this way because I know you didn't watch too much of Mandalorian, but how I felt with Mandalorian was it's like, okay, it's a solid show, right? It's a solid
Yeah.
show, but I felt, you know how in season 2 of The Witcher, and whenever Henry Cavill's not on screen, you don't really care,
Yeah, I
right?
never touched season 2, but yeah, the general consensus is it started to go downhill for season 2 since
Yeah,
for season 2.
absolutely. Yeah, and like it's like season 2, whenever like girl wasn't there, and just like I don't really care any about any of the other characters, right? Season 1 was good. Season 2 was like, oh, this is bad. And same thing. It's same thing with when they first introduced Cara Dune from Gina Carano's character. And I remember in season 2, I was like, okay, cool. We have Grogu, we have we have Mandalorian and stuff like that. I didn't really care. And then when they had when Cara Dune was on screen, I was like, oh, cool, she's there, because I like Gina Carano. And when I was watching it, I'm like, this is actually really cool. And then of course Bill Burr came as one of the characters too. So I think other than like Mandalorian season 3, like the fact that I'm not sure how that's gonna go. I don't think Star Wars has anything. Like maybe Andor. I think probably that. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else in terms of Disney Star Wars that I'm looking forward to.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Remember what Dave said way back when we were covering Rings of Power. It's like
mhm,
apart from the present, like apart from destroying what's the present, they're also destroying the future of that IP. It's like um Rings of Power is the best example because Amazon put in like $1 billion and it was a flop. It's like
mhm,
future potential investors are gonna steer clear. It's like, oh shoot, Amazon, one of the largest conglomerates in the world, put in $1 billion in this and it flopped. So why the
mhm,
hell am I gonna put money on this to revitalize it or to make future content for it? So it's like
mhm,
you're destroying a potential future of what fans could could have potentially seen. Like
mhm,
someone someone out there could have made a really good interpretation of the books that were not yet covered in film or in video
mhm,
games or whatever. But then because Amazon stomped on it, because Amazon disrespected it, now it looks terrible. The Lord of the Rings IP looks terrible to many people. It's like, because for the newer generation, this is how they enter the IPs. Like if they see Rings of Power, okay, this is garbage. I'm not interested. I think Lord of the Rings IP is crap. So they're gonna, let's say, they're gonna neglect the past entries on what made it great. So it's the same thing happening to these other IPs. Like this one, this Scooby Doo. Because yeah, I know I really love Scooby Doo back in my elementary days, like trying to figure out who the culprit is, trying to unravel the mystery. It was a good time. It's not super in depth for sure, but it's a good time. It's like um, it's just the gang working together, helping each other, then eventually finding the culprit. No politics or whatsoever. But
mhm.
then these modern takes with the sending the message. It's like all the new generation is gonna see is like, what's so special about this IP? It's like they're not gonna have that chance anymore, or at least not anytime soon, which is kind of sad
Mhm.
because um I really believe Scooby-Doo could have been something like if they just revitalized Scooby-Doo in the same format with just modern animation, modern art style. I think it would have done really well.
Yeah.
Really well in a good way, not being trash talk like right now in Velma.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I definitely agree with that, right? Mike likes taco says, I don't always I always thought The Witcher was too focused on the main character. So Grae, do you believe that to be true? Because
uh
you played the games and you're more into The Witcher than I am.
okay. If he's in the series, kind of. In terms of the video games, it can't be helped because you play as Geralt. That's it. So it's really gonna focus on him. So,
Mhm,
but The Witcher is such a big universe that you can't. There's definitely room for stuff for content outside of Geralt, like a new generation of Witchers, or not, or maybe not even The Witcher, just the world of it, the world of, is it Temeria? The world of Temeria? I don't I forgot the name of the world. But yeah, it's The Witcher is so big, so vast. Like of all the things you tackle it, you have to insert your identity politics. There's so much stuff you can, like Lord of the Rings. There's so much stuff that you can bring to life that was never tackled as much before.
mhm.
But it's a shame. Like you insert your identity politics with like with blood origins. It's like it's really terrible.
Mike likes tacos. I'm just kidding. I can't. It's sort of like when you're texting someone, right? When you're texting someone, if you don't put like an emoji or something like that, you don't know someone's kidding. As I'm just answering the questions. Sorry. Lost sales. I think the term of these companies are investment in convincing the youth that their products are good, but it's hardly working. A great idea for a reboot of Scooby-Doo would be having the audience guess which one is an actual monster and which one is actually someone creating a hoax. Yeah. I do like that, and that's the reason. One of my favorite like Scooby-Doo like related things was Zombie Island, because those were actual zombies, right? They made a movie. It's called like Scooby-Doo, I think, like Trapped on Zombie Island or Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I forgot what it was. And the funny thing was those, like, they thought they're trying to pull off the mask, but it wasn't coming off. It's like these are actual zombies. And I thought that was the coolest. I thought that was the coolest shit. Like, I thought that was so like, because everyone's always like, oh, it's not a monster. It's always someone. There's always someone trying to, like, oh, Mr. Jones or something like that. And it's just like, oh, you could have gotten away from these damn kids. I thought that was very very interesting. Zombie Island, Space Invaders, Witch, Ghost, all involved real monsters and hoaxes. Yeah, amazing movie. I love the Scooby-Doo movies. So they were great. The thing that I do actually really want to watch is I forgot someone mentioned it. It was like I believe it was the Supernatural crossover. I heard that was really, really good. I didn't get to see it. I don't see the point of Scooby-Doo. We all know the main villain is the
patriarchy.
down with the patriarchy, right? Yeah, it's a straight white male. Yeah, gotta get them out of there, right? But yeah, it's a lot of these things where they have to like dumb down the males or like stomp on the males, or they release a female character that is so powerful that the old character is no longer good. And this will actually makes me segue to this article that I saw in Bounding in Comics that I do want to talk about. Let's see, go and share screen. This one right here. So I saw this I believe yesterday or earlier today, I forgot. So the fact, this is new. This is a new comic. We all know that the cast of the person who was in Meet the Millers, I don't even know his name, to be Adam Warlock. That guy got super jacked, right? He's like that little kid. He's like, what? He became a meme. And all of a sudden, since Adam Warlock is actually a thing, in my opinion, they brought in the MCU. They should have brought him Adam Warlock way back. Like, yeah, like maybe even like mention of him in phase 2, right? Like they probably should have mentioned him in phase 2, is because if they did, you would have Adam Warlock fighting against, like, he would have been the mastermind behind like Thanos's like defeat, and which is what the comic books would have been, right? Because Adam Warlock was like the reason why it would defeat Thanos. But I guess they have a female Thanos now. But maybe this has always been the thing. I heard that this character was actually a thing for a while now. But like, of course, you got to have the female. I think her name was like Eve or something. Yeah, Eve Warlock. Like, of course, Adam Warlock's supposed to be like super, super strong. He's the only one other than Thanos that's actually able to control the Infinity Gauntlet, like with the gems in it. Okay. So let's go ahead and read this. Marvel Comics, to seemingly change Adam Warlock's origin, introduce Eve Warlock, who is stronger, faster, and smarter. Of course, you have to have that, because if you don't, then why create a female? Because these powerful females have to be a lot stronger than the original. You just have to do it, because if not, then it's not going to be fair, right? You sort of have you already have what's it called, during the Oscars, I think the nominations, there was like no female directors that were nominated. Everyone's all pissed off, right? And just like, it's like, make good movies. Right? Make good movies. People will come, and then these people say, oh, how dare you, don't put no diversity and stuff. They get super upset, right? Marvel Comics announced that they will seemingly change Adam Warlock's origin in an upcoming solo series titled Warlock Rebirth. For those who are unfamiliar with Adam Warlock's origin, the character was first introduced in Fantastic Four Volume 66. In that first appearance, it's revealed he is the creation of a group of human scientists operating out of a place called the Citadel of Science. This group aims to create a new race of a breed of living beings that could control in order to conquer mankind. Their initial results were a success with the creation of him, who would later be known as Adam Warlock. However, the scientists failed to implement their control mechanism and contain the sheer power invested in Adam Warlock. So this is the comic book page. Yeah, I think this is how he looked like originally. Warlock revolts against his creators after knowing about their evil intentions. He then harnesses enough energy to leave the planet Earth, and by doing so, he destroys the Citadel of Science and the scientists that built it. Right. Hey, let's go and continue. After leaving Earth, Warlock would eventually get caught in the Watcher's space trap and return to the cocoon, which gave him life. Yeah, which is that I think the cocoon was mentioned in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think it's at the end, the golden lady was like, I shall call
that's what
him.
I remember too.
She's like, I shall call him me. But let's go and continue. Sorry. The Watcher would, and Thor 165. That's when he goes back into the cocoon. Upon awaking on Earth, Warlock encounters Thor, Sif, and Balder. He notes that he is lonely and wishes to find a mate and chooses Sif. A battle breaks out when Warlock sends both Thor and Balder flying while declaring, Sif must be mine. There are none who opposes me. Thor will eventually gain the upper hand on Warlock by tapping into the warrior madness. The increased fury would force Warlock to return to his cocoon and shoot off into space, leaving Sif behind. Warlock would drift through space, eventually running into the High Evolutionary. After the High Evolutionary's plan to create a counter-Earth is usurped by his previous creation, Man-Beast. Warlock volunteers to serve the humans that the High Evolutionary created in order to prevent the High Evolutionary from destroying the entirety of the counter-Earth. Warlock's choice was made because he saw the goodness in the creation of the High Evolutionary. The High Evolutionary not only acquiesced it, but provided Warlock with the Soul Gem before he sent him down to counter-Earth. In a blog post providing details about the new series, Marvel noted that the series is from Ron Mars and Ron Lim. Will reveal a never-before-seen chapter of Adam Warlock's fascinating origin. This never-before-seen chapter will introduce a character named Eve Warlock, who is described as someone stronger, faster, and smarter than Adam himself, on top of being superior to Adam Warlock in what appears to be in every way. She will also strip Adam of all of his power, starting the Soul Gem.
Yikes.
I could go with the counter of right about now. Yeah, literally wishing for a giant comet, right? Yeah. So basically, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm gonna take what makes you strong and powerful, right? And it's sort of like you the way of they're always just have to bash the original to prop the female or the new version of it. Yeah. And is there a way for them not to do this? I'm pretty sure just writing good characters, right? Writing good characters. The character learns from their mistakes. That's not like a freaking like a Mary Sue right off the bat. Learns from her mistakes and then eventually takes the mantle. I think that's a better sort of just
like give it time to develop until like from stage one, they let the character grow and learn from their mistakes, eventually taking up the mantle of that character. If you really want to go that, that's fine with me. Not this sudden insert that, oh, I'm better than you in everything, so get the fuck out. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yep. Interestingly, this isn't the first time Marvel Comics has done something like this. Back in the Incredible Hulk annual number 6, it is revealed that Warlock didn't actually kill the scientists. Rather, they were banished into another dimension, survived, and continued their mission by creating a new being. Sorry. The scientists recruit Doctor Strange for their project to perform a neurological procedure that will bring this new being under their control, unlike the failed attempt with Adam Warlock. The procedure proceeds as Morlock and his fellow scientists wanted a new cocoon. A new cocoon gives birth to a being called the Paragon. After an epic battle with Doctor Strange and the Hulk, who was on a hunt for Doctor Strange, Paragon reveals he had previously learned about Warlock and knew the scientists' evil intentions. He found a way to subvert their control mechanisms and transform into an energy being. He then proceeds to destroy the base known as the Beehive before retreating back into his cocoon. The cocoon would eventually be discovered in New York City and dragged out of the water. Upon being dragged out of the water, an energy being bursts forth and proceeds to locate the Thing and Alicia Masters. Upon locating the duo, they were enjoying some adult beverages. By candlelight, the being reveals itself to be her. So they've done this before, right? So the thing is, I don't know. Did they actually? Was she actually like originally extremely a lot stronger than Adam Warlock already? Like we're not even sure. Yeah. Her only flaw is that she's too perfect.
Yeah, that's the only weakness.
Yeah, she's too good.
She's too good. Like that character in Blood Orange.
Yeah, I snorted. Shit. It's like how good are you with
those cleavers?
I'm too good. Yeah, it's not possible because these people don't ever get consequences. They self-insert that into all the characters now. Yeah, absolutely. It's like didn't like one of the writers like that made like that stupid like I was a New Mutants or some shit like that. It was a super new one that like it was like Snowflake and Safe Space like like the writer self-inserted herself
Oh,
into
it
one of the
was.
characters.
Yeah, it was actually one of the movies I was looking forward to, but I just literally forgot about it. So it's not good. It's a terrible movie.
It was either New Mutants or
Yeah, it's
it
like
was like
that's where Arya
else.
Stark was, right? It stars Arya Stark in it. It's like
the New Mutants, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, that one, yeah, all Arya Stark.
An X-Men take, but for the horror genre. I thought it was interesting, but turns out, yeah. I think yeah, okay, got it.
I think the author thing was either a self-insert for Marvel or DC, because I also remember they did some weird DC crap that like they self-insert their own characters. I'm just gonna because I look like this frumpy looking thing that looks like Edna Mode, but like she ate like another Edna Mode, and it's just like, oh, I'm gonna make that character look exactly like me. It's like it's just like you self-inserting yourself into it, which a lot of people do it in the creative industry, but like it's sometimes it's like it's absurd. Is like obviously just like, okay, that's totally you. No idea. New Marvel scares me. I only know of the wheelchair trans Spider-Man or the pregnant Spider.
The pregnant Spider-Man is legit to rival pregnant Joker.
That makes okay.
Marvel
Marvel
needs to compete. Marvel needs to compete.
Right. Whenever DC makes something, Marvel has to like make their own, or vice versa, right? It's like, oh, we made Namor the Submariner, and then DC's like, oh yeah, we're gonna make Aquaman, right? And it's like, oh, we're gonna make Batman, and Marvel's like, oh, we're gonna make Man-Bat. But yes. Yeah, so a pregnant Joker, we need pregnant. Get me pregnant Spider-Man. J. Jonah Jameson, give me Spider-Man, but he has to be pregnant. No, I erased pregnant Joker from my mind. Oh, that was so bad.
When I first heard of it too, I had the same reaction as everyone else, like the same reaction as Ryan or everyone else who covered it, like Melanie. Like, this has to be a joke, right? This has to be someone trolling. But then when they dug deeper, it's legit. It's for reals. Someone in the whole chain of command on DC is like, yeah, this is an excellent idea. Go for it. It's like, how did that happen?
It's like I don't know. They're like, it feels like, nobody's reading comic books now, right? Like comic book sales has dipped. Like everyone's going over to manga, and just no one really cares about comic books anymore. So we'll just put in anything, whatever, and then maybe it's sort of like what I mentioned last time, right? This could be shock content. It could be like, we're gonna put in this crazy Joker thing, and let's see if people starts talking about it, right? And then all of a sudden, Joker pregnant start being trending on Twitter. So that means people are talking about it. So it's sort of like, even though it's a bad publicity is still good for them. It's sort of like, oh yeah, we're getting clicks, and it sucks. All right, let's continue. Her then explains that she realized that her purpose is to mate with Adam Warlock in order to create a perfect race. Her also explains the reason for transforming her physical appearance to that end. I have altered my form to this physical counterpart. Her will eventually travel to with Moondragon, Alicia Masters, and Ben Grimm to counter Earth, where she discovers the grave of Adam Warlock. Using her abilities, she's able to resurrect Warlock's physical form, but fails to have to have returned his soul to his body. I do like these old
Yeah, this
comics.
looks like a concept that's been a while, judging by that artwork.
Yeah,
So
I
it's been, yeah, this story's been quite a while before woke became a big thing.
yeah,
At least that's how I see it.
yeah. This one's more like nowadays. The
Yeah,
character would
this
take
one looks modern.
Yeah. The character would then take on a number of names throughout Marvel's history, including Aisha and the most recently Kismet. It's unclear if her will be revealed to be Eve Warlock, or Eve Warlock is a completely new character that will change Adam Warlock's origin. One assumes these questions will be answered in Warlock's Rebirth's first issue, which is expected to debut in April. One thing that does appear to be clear is that the character will have some kind of relationship with the High Evolutionary, as he is depicted in the interior art. So it's right over here. So what most likely what's going to happen is she's basically going to be the new Adam Warlock, right? Like it's sort of like when we mentioned every single Marvel character right now has a female counterpart, has a
Yes.
female version, right? You have Riri Williams, the new Iron Man. You have female Loki. You have She-Hulk. Well, She-Hulk's create, maybe you like it or not, right? There's everything has to have a female version now, and it's most of the time is done very poorly, right? It's sort of like when I first heard, I remember in 2015, 2016, when I first heard that, oh, they're making female Thor. I'm like, huh? Is she called female Thor? I said, no, she's basically gonna be Thor because she has the power of Thor, so she's gonna be called Thor now. I was like, no, Thor is Thor, and that's why Jane Thor is called Jane Thor, right? It's or Almighty Thor and stuff like that. It's like no, it's like we don't need that. Who asked for this? And then it's like, the reason why Jane Thor was able to have she becomes Thor is because she has cancer. So Thor gives her the ability to become, the Almighty Thor, so she doesn't die. So he becomes like a side character. So he becomes a side character, and pretty much, I'm like, this is stupid, right? It's a smart marketing strategy. It's ridiculous and now viral. True, right? The Christian God about the super plagiarism. Yep. Yeah. So it's I don't know. How do you feel about this? It's just I get so upset whenever I'm like, oh, here we go again. Here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, since this is announced, I'm pretty sure within a couple of years, this character will be in my game, the game that I'm working on. And
yeah, probably.
yeah,
And I'm not sure what they have plans for Adam Warlock. Are they gonna make a series out of it or a movie? So it's likely gonna be Thor: Love and Thunder kind of style. That's what I'm thinking. They're gonna insert her in one of these movies or in one of those TV series. But I don't know their plans for this character, for Adam Warlock.
So for Adam Warlock, he's going to be in Guardians 3, Volume 3. For sure. He's going to be in Guardian. I haven't seen the trailer, but I do know that he's going to be in Guardians Volume 3. We do know that he is going to be a good guy. He's probably going to play a big part. And we already heard, what's it called again? I think Kevin Feige, he did like a podcast or something like that a couple of days ago. And like, I guess there's a bunch of stuff that's coming up down the pipe. Here's like Phase 17 or something like that. Here's all these other characters, and it's just like I didn't mention to you, like I'm having superhero fatigue, and of course in his I think I was listening to Gary Nerdrotics. He made a video about it, I think yesterday or today, and I was listening to it, and I was listening to Kevin Feige talk, and then he was like, it's like, no, we're not having superhero fatigue.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a fatigue. It's actually more of it's like, and he compares himself or the Marvel franchise to like Gone with the Wind, and which is like, oh, well, that's from a book, and then and then they made that into a movie, and it became like a big thing, and that we have a lot of stories to tell, and I think it's either someone from Geeks and Gamers or I think Neurotic said it. It's like, yes, we actually don't have superhero fatigue. We have a fatigue of bad writing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Gary.
I'm like, yeah, that's actually true, is because like, look when like because I think I started having superhero fatigue, or just like now come to think of it, I've been having fatigue with just shitty movies, and not respecting the source material. I think the first movie that I actually felt like this is a good movie that's a superhero movie was Batman, the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, it's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
I'm not a big fan of how Robert Pattinson looks without the cowl, without his bat suit. But overall, I think the movie was entertaining. Um, yeah, they are gonna make a spinoff with the Penguin, but like I think overall it was entertaining. I think it was a little long in my opinion, but I thought that was
Kinda.
entertaining. I was like, okay, this is different. I do like this. It's dark, gritty. I think Robert Pattinson's doing a good job, even though I wish he freaking bulked up and stopped freaking being a little pussy
Yeah,
about, oh,
yeah,
I got to gain weight, this all like, oh, because he's
yeah.
I
I didn't like that either. I didn't like
yeah,
when he
I
was.
was yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna just double down on your point. Like when I saw these articles, him making excuses why he doesn't want to bulk up. It's like that's Batman, man. Batman is definitely beefed up so he can fight crime. So
Yeah,
other than that, you're just a regular dude if you don't do that. At least that's what I think.
yeah. I remember I was I was listening to a workout video with Henry Cavill, and he was talking about Witcher season 2, and that, like, his workout that he had to do, right? It's not because Henry Cavill, if you first when I first saw Henry Cavill, he was in what, I think it was like 300, like the prequel or something like that. I forgot which one it was. He wasn't like super buff, right? He was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you could tell he was muscular, but he wasn't like how he is now. He was like pretty. It's sort of like how Chris Evans looked like when he played Johnny Storm, right? When he played what's it called again? Human Torch, right?
Before
He was
be-
yeah,
before
he
Captain
was
America.
yeah, before he played Captain America. He was actually like he was muscular, but he wasn't like super
Super muscle.
buff and yoked, right? And then he was like, okay, well, Captain America is super buff. Superman is super buff. I need to get to that point, right? And the thing is that um Robert Pattinson is like what, a year or two older than me. So he's what, 36 or something, 36 or something like that, or 37. And he's I think he's like, dude, just work out, just play the part and stuff like that. It If you're gonna be cast at the part, like at least try your damnedest to sort of look the part,
Mhm,
right? And that's the
mhm.
reason why, like, we're gonna segue to this one. When we heard John Cho was gonna be playing Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy Bebop.
Well, the thing is that John Cho, he has like a regular, like, he's like regular body. He's not like ripped. He's not buff. He's just regular looking. And then, but for when he played Spike Spiegel, I did watch the first episode.
Yeah, I think he
You could
did.
tell he worked out.
Yeah, he worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I'm like, cool. He worked out. He looks the part. He's a little old in my opinion, because I think John Cho is like late 40s, maybe mid 40s, and I think Spike is supposed to be in his 30s. But like he worked out. He played the part, and of course you have the person who plays Faye Valentine, who's like,
Mhm.
oh, no, I'm not supposed to have, like, I'm sorry, I don't have like double D breasticles, and I'm not, I'm, male gaze, and I'm not sorry, I'm not good enough for you and stuff. Like, dude, that's her character,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like the
I mean,
reason why,
I haven't watched the anime or the movie, but I know that I've seen comments that that's really her character. If that's really her character, then you have to play the part.
you need to watch the anime now. You need to
Okay.
watch it like yesterday. You need to watch it like yesterday. The
Yeah.
anime is so good. It's so good. The music
how,
is really good too.
how many episodes is that anime?
It's one season. I think it's about like 25, 26 episodes. No more
Okay,
than that.
okay. That's not so
It's
bad.
like
Okay,
one
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
the thing is that, like, my wife, she loves it. I remember what happened was she watched the entire thing, I believe. I watched episode 1 and the final episode of season 1. That's I couldn't stand the character that played the person that played Faye Valentine. Like the reason why Faye Valentine had to be the way she is because she's a femme fatale. So that means that she uses her sexuality to lure people in and get what she wants, right? She's a bounty hunter. So she needs to use her sexuality, because she's not like super strong. She or anything like that. Like but she's good at what she does, and she uses people. That's what her character is known for. And the fact that like they didn't really go that route with the show is sort of like, okay, fine, right? It's like, I guess, but the thing is that she also doubled down on, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not this. I'm sorry, I'm not that. It's that video that came out where she went on social media and started bitching, started complaining about like fans and stuff like that. And sorry, I'm not good enough for you. And just sort of like poking fun at the people who love the source material. I'm like, that's when people like, you know what? Screw the show. And overall, the
Yeah,
show
exactly.
wasn't that great, anyways. And there's actually a couple episodes in the show that actually had like I think it was like a androgynous character, or like a non-binary or a gay or lesbian character, and they did it very tastefully, right? According to my wife, like it's like when you hear like what's your favorite anime, someone will always say Cowboy Bebop.
Cowboy
It's because,
Bebop.
yeah, so it's really really good. See, so I'm so beat from superhero movies, I can't even watch Robert Pattinson's Batman film. The last movie I watched in theaters for probably 2 to 5 years was Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
I heard the new Puss in Boots movie was
Yeah,
actually
was
pretty
actually
good.
really good. Yeah, the
Yeah,
new
I
one
heard it was actually really fun too, which is way better than anything Marvel has put out. I don't think you're missing skipping much skipping Batman. Sometimes I think uh there are movies just keep actors paid, keeping unions happy, etc. Yeah, it's sort of like the machine, right? It's like we got to make movies. Hey, why is this movie underperforming? Why is this doing so bad? And I'm surprised that like I think the reason why Kathleen Kennedy is still at Lucasfilms is because Jon Favreau, right? It's because of Mandalorian. It's because she greenlit it, right? Since she's basically she's the owner, not the owner, but like the owner of Lucasfilm. She's like the CEO or something. And then John, of course, having her, she's like, okay, cool. You know, whatever accomplishments Jon Favreau has, that's my
yeah.
accomplishment too,
She's gonna
because
take credit from it.
I'm gonna take credit of this, right?
Mhm.
And I think you know, like Baby Yoda was like such a big like cultural phenomenon. Like I think that's
Yeah,
the reason
yeah.
why a lot of females started watching Star Wars. Like I remember I had a coworker. She wasn't a star. She was a big Disney fan. She was not a big Star Wars
Big
fan
Star Wars fan.
until she saw Baby Yoda, and she's
Baby
like, I
Yoda.
have to watch this now. I have to watch it, and that's what drew a lot of people in. My wife, not a big Star Wars fan. We watched 2 seasons of Mandalorian because of Baby Yoda, right? She thinks she thinks Star Trek and Star Wars has no differences, and for me, I'm not. When it comes to being for Star Trek, I don't know a lot. I did watch
Yeah.
some of the what's it called again, the newer movies, but I did watch some of New Generation when it was on, when it was running on, I think CW or WB or whatever at nighttime. But Star Wars is, you know, I know a little bit more about, but like I don't know that much. However, when she's like, so what's the Star Trek Wars thing? I was like, what's the difference? They're all in space. But she did really like Mandalorian, so she's considered a normie, right? So that drew her in. And the thing is that that's the only thing that's like saving Kathleen Kennedy from sort of like, you know, her
Getting laid
stepping
off.
down. Yeah, her stepping down, you know, like I think you have that. You have some hits I liked Rogue One. I think Rogue One was pretty good.
Yes.
Um, and then you have Andor, which is good. You know, like I will consider it really good. I still need to finish it. And then everything else was just like not really that great. Yeah, Eggroll, hell yeah, yo, what's going on, Mr. Grant Gregory? Yo, what's happening? But yeah, so I just hope when it comes down to these things, like if you're gonna be like faithful to something, like just it's and that's the reason why like I'm so sad that Henry Cavill is no longer going to be playing The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I smell divorce. No, she loves anime. My wife loves anime. Well, we can't. Well, the thing is that like we have a kid now, so like I can't. I can't. A lot of money is going to that kid.
For sure.
But
For sure.
all right. So we're going to switch gears to Cowboy Bebop. Speaking of Cowboy Bebop, but yeah, you need to watch it. It's really good.
Okay.
here's the thing though. If you watch the anime, if you watch the live action, you're
Oh
gonna
no,
think it's
no.
okay. You're going to think it's like, I think it's okay, and then you watch the anime, it's like the live action sucks
Okay, yeah.
immediately.
I'm definitely gonna start with the anime for sure.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and skip over to this one right over here. All right. So Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe says he was only able to stomach one scene of Netflix's live action adaptation. Okay. So here's the thing, right? A lot of these Japanese companies, they're like, cool, does the character look like my character? It does. All right. So are you going to use the source material? You guys are? All right, cool. Just send it off. And then they're like, cool, we're getting a lot of money. So then they don't really say too much about it. And then by the time it comes out to like, what have you done? Right? What have you done? Right? So it's sort of like Akira Toriyama is like, cool, you guys are going to be making Dragon Ball Evolution. All right, here we go,
Oh,
Fox. I'm going to send it off to you. And then when he's like, I'm coming out of retirement. I'm going to be making Dragon Ball Super, right? I'm going to be making the Dragon Ball Battle of the Gods movie, right? That's what sparked it. It's because of shit that Hollywood comes out with that does not pay respect or love to the original. It's that's the shit you're gonna get. Then no one's gonna like it. Even the creator says, I couldn't even stand that one scene. I watched one scene and I can't even watch it anymore. Confession, I have not watched most popular media. I'm saving them until I have finished my own original story. Cat Orange Whistling. Pedro Pascal was also admitting he was scared of doing scenes as Joel or something relevant. I suspect that he was the reason why it was toned down so much. Yeah, I heard they actually toned down the violence and which we are going to be getting into, Grae, in terms of this. But I know that there's a reason why I found this out today when I was watching episode 2 right before the podcast. They're searching for batteries, right? I think in yeah. But in the game they're looking for guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the one big thing they changed. So it's because I think it's because of they don't want to glorify guns, even though guns aren't the reason that people are killing people. I think it's the mental, right? It's this people.
Yeah.
That's something that the government can't tackle.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
something
that didn't register to me until you told me. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look for batteries. I'm like, I don't think that was the original reason. I think the reason why we need firearms, we need guns, right? All right. So it seems it wasn't just fans who were unhappy with Netflix's absolute mishandling of the beloved space western series, as original Cowboy Bebop anime creator Shinichiro Watanabe has admitted that he couldn't bring himself to suffer through more than one scene of the streaming service's live action abomination. That's actually an incredible paragraph. This is well written. The veteran anime director shared his opinion on the widely panned canceled 3 weeks after premiere.
Savage.
2 3
that's such a burn term.
Oh, that's so good. After its premiere adaptation, during a recent career retrospective interview given to Forbes' Ollie Barder, following the brief look back on his past portfolio, including such works as Blue Comet SPT, Leisner, Gundam 0083, and of course Cowboy Bebop, Watanabe was asked on his thoughts on Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, to which he revealed that he was, to say the least, not a fan. Quote, for the new Netflix live action adaptation, they sent me a video to review and check. It started with a scene in a casino. So this is one of the first scenes. This is actually one of the first scenes you see, which made it very tough for me to continue. This is the first scene of the first episode. And he's like, I can't watch this. This is trash. I'm glad it's gone. I stopped there and only saw the opening scene. Yeah, it's because the only one cool thing about the show, okay, 2. Jet Black, absolutely perfect casting in my opinion. He sounds exactly like Jet Black from the show. Number 2, the opening scene, they use the same music, which is great, right? The whole like jazz music that they used was really, really good. It was clearly not Cowboy Bebop, and I realized at the point that if I wasn't involved, it would not be Cowboy Bebop. He added, I felt that maybe I should have done this, although the value of the original anime is somehow far higher now. Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing I'm really, really like hate about like Hollywood. Take something that's really, really good, really grounded, that everyone loves, bastardize that shit.
Throw it out of
We're
the
gonna
window.
ruin it for you, right? Like it's just like, oh, like Death Note ruined, right? And they're already, and Netflix is already coming out with One Piece. I heard My Hero Academia is coming out, and I heard Naruto is gonna be coming out too. So I'm just like, dude, stop, freaking stop, man. It's time to stop, right? I wish I had that meme with the guy with the giant clock. It's time to stop. Bro, also in the game, Joel doesn't give a damn about his brother. In fact, he was so shocked to see him. One might guess he believes his brother was dead. Yeah, because
I tackled that in my episode 1 review. It's like, I am not sure if I like this interpretation of Tommy. It's like, it's so kind of, it's significantly different from the Tommy we know in the games. Like, because in the TV series they make him because in the games, right, he's very composed, much more composed than Joel. He thinks more critically. Here, he seems like the more criminal type. Like, he's more careless. He's more easily provoked. Because Joel had to pick him up in the precinct because he got into a fight in the TV series. So, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was a fan. Like that's not really Tommy. Maybe you can argue he is in the second game. He's kind of like that in the second game, but in the first game, he's definitely not. He's like, he's calm, he's composed. He's really a leader. But here is like, he's the careless criminal who'll get into a fight with anyone as long as he gets provoked or he's not getting his way. That's what they're implying him to be. And then I actually kind of gave it a positive tone in episode 2 with regards to the batteries you mentioned. The batteries at the time, I was under the mindset that Joel and Tess in the games were just in it for profit. And then I reasoned out in my reviews, like, at least here, they had a purpose in mind to rescue Tommy wherever he may be. So I looked at it at a good side, but I didn't consider what you said just earlier about the guns thing. So I might need to reconsider that a little bit.
Yeah. I'm actually gonna start posting. I'm actually gonna start showing the comments as I read them. I might be easier for people who are in the chat. All right. One thing I'll say about the actor for Tommy, he actually really likes The Last of Us and nails the acting part, but the direction and writing for him is gross. Yeah. I believe I don't know his name, but I know that he played Robbie Reyes, the Ghost Rider, in I think Agents of Shield, and he was also the T-1000 in the Terminator: The Dark Fate, right? So I actually do like him. I think what he's cast in this one, like, it could be like different, and it's just, yeah, it's not, it doesn't feel like the game, and I don't know, like it sort of makes me feel in terms of like Joel, he's like, oh god, I need to look out for my deadbeat brother again, and he's like, oh, I need to take care of him. I'm the only one he's got, and it's sort of, yeah, I think that that's how they're changing stuff up, right? And plus, I think Neil Druckmann already said season 2 is going to be on part 2.
Yep. I read that.
Yeah, Gabriel Luna. Yeah, thank you. Anona Mouse. Good name. Yeah, Gabriel Luna. I actually do like him because I actually that's the reason why I actually went to go watch Agents of Shield, because I watched the first season. I was like, I don't really like this, and then I watched Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I think that's where that's the peak of Agents of Shield. After until Ghost Rider. After that, it kind of went downhill for me.
Yeah, after the Ghost Rider thing, I'm like, is Ghost Rider gonna? He came in for like half a season, and then maybe they're like, oh, he's too expensive, right? Because because like the animation of his skull, like coming off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so let's continue with this. Not only did Watanabe share his distaste for Netflix adaptation, but he also opened up about his general opposition to the Hollywood machine. Absolutely, yeah. This needs to be talked about. Back on the anime. Oh, he worked on the Animatrix. Oh shit, I love the Animatrix. Back on the Animatrix, I got to work with people in Hollywood. said the director, reflecting on the short of the animated The Matrix anthology kids story. Working with those kinds of people is always
It's
difficult.
always difficult.
Oh, right here. Yeah, difficult. And plus it's also a different culture. Like Japan is very conservative and very reserved, and they don't like, and majority of the time they don't like trouble, so they usually just agree with this kind of stuff. Even though they don't agree with how things are handled, they will still agree, is because they're actually like, they're very like polite, right? They do their best not to like sort of make people upset. This is because at the beginning they promised me that I could do whatever I want, but that was just lip service. Yeah, absolutely. Like, oh, you can do whatever you want. Oh, but let's
I
change
believe
the game.
that. I believe
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah. So I was shaking when Abby walked into the room and told Joe it's golfing time.
Death to the males.
Yeah. Oh man. So Grae, so you're playing part 2 right now. How are you liking the game?
Yeah. I have a lot to say on that. At first,
Without giving too much away, because I know you're gonna make a video on it.
it's still ongoing.
Short.
It's still ongoing. If you look past the story, it's actually a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, that sounds controversial, I know, but you need to get past that controversial scene. But everything else is good. It's solid. That's basically in a nutshell. Yeah, I don't want to elaborate more, but that's in a nutshell what I think of The Last of Us Part 2. Especially now, you can get it for like $10 if you wait for the sale. So that's a really really good price for the game.
So according to what I know about it, like I've seen the big story beats of what happened. I think the whole you play as Abby. I think that's fine. Like playing as her, but I think what happened to Joel happened too early in the game.
Yes.
I think if it happened like 3/4 into the game, 3/4 into the game, and that happens, and the player doesn't know that's coming, I think that would have been a bigger impact. It's sort of like when you start off, if you watch Logan and he dies within the first like 15 minutes. And then all of a sudden, and the person, and it's sort of like the person that killed Wolverine was the person that like you thought was the main character. It's like oh, it's actually X-23 that kills him. He's like, what? It's like what? I've been following Wolverine for like a decade. Like I've been following Wolverine for like 15 years. Wait, what? You can't just do this. It's sort of that. I think that's the thing. I think what they did with him to sort of what happened to Joe, and plus of course this game came out several years ago. I think it's okay that they did it. It's because it's like it's a dog eat dog world. That shit happens.
Yep.
But I think if they sort of respected the fans a little bit more and have it happen later on, it would have been 100% way better and more. It's like how long did it take? How long did it take for the first game and the second game? The difference, like 9 years, 8 years difference, like sort of like
somewhere along that range, I think. If not a little lower, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere around that range. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Which I think if I were gonna bet, that's what Neil would change the sequence of events for season 2.
Yes,
that's what he would change.
I hope so, is because the thing is that if people already know it's coming, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
And the thing is that like this is the first time we're actually getting something that's like this is pretty good. Like for adaptation from video game to a TV show or movie, this is actually pretty good because everything else that we got was crap, right? And it's just like like another video game thing. The only thing that I would say that's pretty good is Sonic. Just remove all the humans and it'll be good, right? We don't need any more of the humans. Just have them go into like Green Hill Zone and stuff. But yeah. All right. I think there's a distinction with the visual storytelling medium of anime that particularly doesn't come across well in live action as classic American comics. I do agree because I remember I was watching the Corridor Crew, and what's it called again? They had these things like 3D modelers react to bad 3D animation. Visual effects reacts and stuff like that. So they have one for animation, and they had a guy who who worked in animation for quite some time. He looked like an older guy, and he says animation in Japanese media and American media or medium is completely different. Is because American media is more about the story and the character. It's more about the character and the story than anything else. And versus Japanese is more about the feeling, right? And
Yeah,
that's the reason
yeah,
why it's like, how can like that's where the sub versus dub argument comes in, right? It's like, are you a
yeah.
sub guy or are you a dub guy? I am 80% subbed guy, 20% dub, because some dubs are good. I think Dragon Ball is one of the very standout ones. I think Cowboy Bebop is pretty good, and a couple of the other ones that are really good. There's some really really good voice actors, right? But in terms of Japanese, you cannot, the feeling and emotion you get from
But
the Japanese ones. Like I
yeah.
remember watching My Hero Academia,
Mhm.
and there's a scene where All Might is fighting against All for One, and I watched the comparison between when he did his United States of Smash. You felt it when the Japanese actor went in. You freaking felt it. You felt that in like your dick, right? You're like, oh fuck, he's going in. He's fucking going in, and you're like, you want to scream with him. That's how hyped that shit was. No fault to Christopher Sabat. Okay, no, it's a Christopher or whatever Sabat. Okay, I think that's his name. Um, Sabat is very very good at what he does, and he voices All Might. Okay, but it's a little different. You're like, it's good, but I'm missing something. And that's where Japanese anime comes in. And how can you translate that into live action? Right? There's not a lot of things where you're like you can just be in your tree. You're like, ah! Like when Goku's charging up, the guy who voices him in the American one, he does an amazing job. But like, can you translate that in live action? Right? Can you get the same feel? And that's where Hollywood, especially Hollywood, does not get that across. It's more about about the character, and it's about the backgrounds and stuff like that. So
Mhm. Yeah.
it's these that's why when you compare like TV show, you have time to flesh things out, right? But
Yes.
you're still not going to get that feel. And that's the reason why, if he was like closely involved with it, it could have been a lot better. But the thing is
Mhm.
that like Hollywood's not going to give you that opportunity. It's like, oh, we're just going to take your IP and we're just going to
And do
bastardize
whatever
it.
we want with it. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, sorry, I rambled on for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's a point worth elaborating
Mhm.
still, because it still keeps on happening over and over again.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, at least we will get Pedro Pascal's head exfoliators. well, well, the thing is that like I wonder if they're actually okay. So here's the thing. A lot of people originally, myself included, when the scene came out, when everyone's like, "Oh my god, did you see what happened when what they did with Joel in part 2?" I originally thought Abby was trans. I originally thought she was trans, and then of
Uh,
course later on it's confirmed that she's not.
she's not. She's not.
I wonder if they might have the opportunity to change that here, or it's because you want to be more inclusive,
Uh,
right? I'm not sure, like, because there are people who's like, do you have a trans representation? They're gonna ask, right? You already have a lesbian, right? Someone part of the LGBT, but you need someone from no, you need someone. You have the L. You have the L. You're gonna need someone from the T, and like they're gonna want representation. It's like, oh, are you gonna have a trans person in here? Because they already had one in Cowboy Bebop, right? So like, are you gonna have one for this? So we'll see. We'll see, right? Uh, in my opinion, the cinematography just hasn't figured out how to translate anime effectively yet. This is my take across the board concerning anime adaptation.
any
Yeah,
adaptation.
100%.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and to the point of even when it's Japanese released live action adaptations like Attack on Titan and I think the Bleach one. I think Bleach had one too. And it's good, but it's different. right? It's different. It's like you still don't have that like crazy angles of like crazy like characters doing something, right?
Mhm.
Like Grae, did you watch Shippuden, Naruto Shippuden?
No, I didn't reach Shippuden, unfortunately. There's
What
just too many episodes.
what are you doing, man?
There's, there's just too many Naruto episodes.
All right, all right. Let me show you something. Okay, there's a GIF over here. It's the infamous GIF from one of my favorite arcs, and hopefully, I I need to see this happen in real life because if it doesn't happen in a live action adaptation, what's the point? What's the point, right? So Naruto, and if my wife is in the chat, do not just she's supposed to be reacting to this in her on her Patreon. But there's a scene where Naruto is fighting against one of the Akatsuki members, and you can tell when the Japanese studios went with a different studio because they need to hype up this animation fight scene that they pay extra money for. I forgot there's a term for it, and the scene will go down in infamy because the animation is so wonky, but I love it. It's because as a person who graduated from an animation degree, I love when characters are stretched as much as they can. And this is one of the drawings that if you freeze frame it, these are some of the drawings that you see. See that? You see how crazy and stretched this animation
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
freeze frame it looks insane. It looks freaking insane, right? So I'm going to share this tab. Like, if you freeze frame this, my pain is greater than yours. You need to see this actually in animation. In animation, it looks fucking amazing, right? It looks so good. Let's see if I can. There it is.
Oh,
All
there
right.
it is.
Okay, you
GIF.
see that? You see how
Yeah.
good this animation is? It's insane, but it looks like can you translate from anime to live action with this? You can't. You cannot do that.
Yeah,
Even
yeah, I
in
get it.
3D, you possibly can get away from some crazy shit, but that's why
But
I
not,
love 2D animation.
yeah, not in that proportion.
Yeah,
Not
it's
to
like
that
my
degree.
pain is greater than yours, and it's like he's going so fast, his face is about to get ripped off, right? And there's a scene that if you cut it, like if you stop it, he looks like a horse, so just amazing. But yeah, sorry, sorry, got carried away. All right, so let's go back to this one right over here. But yes, yeah. So actually, I had a big altercation with a Hollywood producer on an animatrix, Watanabe recounted. He would always come with these stupid requests just so he can identify his own contribution. As the requests were stupid and made no sense, I rejected all of them. Unfortunately, I couldn't win in this situation,
What?
so I had to concede to some of these things.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, it's like what it's because they're the one who's fronting the money, and most likely it's American producers. Even though you are the animator or the filmmaker, there's always going to be producers or the showrunners or the people who's putting in the money that are gonna want to put their freaking dick in the fucking same pool
Yeah.
and shit.
They
So
think theirs has a they have a bet they think their take is better, and then that's where it begins.
yeah, like as a person who works in the creative field, majority of the time,
Mhm.
of course we try to please the people who are like making the request. For example, if they're like, hey, can we get Ant-Man with this, and then we do it, and it's like, oh, actually, can we also add this in too? And they sort of try to give you direction, and even though they have no art background, they have no art experience, they try to give you direction. Is because they think that their input is important. Okay, don't get me wrong, their input is important, but if it comes down to it, it doesn't look good, like I'm not gonna do it. I remember one time, um, he is actually my executive producer now. He was he wanted to add something. He's like, hey, we want to change this up. We want to add this character on this data pad. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, just put the character on top, the roster portrait, just put him on top. I'm like, this is gonna look ugly. And it's like, yeah, but this is what he wants. And he's like, during that time, he's like pretty high up already. Now he's like even higher. And it's like, you have to do it. I was like, how about this? As an artist, how about if I put like a little border around him, and so it makes it look more like an icon versus like it's just a floating head. And then like I pushed back on it, and my art director's like, okay, yeah, do that. And then we did it, and it was a success. Because if I went ahead with the decision that this producer wanted,
initial decision,
then it will not look good. But the thing is that sometimes you need to, as an artist, you need to be able to push back on some things. Like even with me, like, so I did the concept art for my game for Beast and Rhino, right? So those are the two concept arts that I did for the game that I eventually modeled. There's some things that we can actually push back with Marvel. It's like, hey, Rhino doesn't look like this and stuff like that. And then we're like, oh, the reason why we're thinking about making him look like this, and that's the reason why we went with this way. And you can actually push back a little bit, and it's actually okay for you to do that as a creative. And because we're working with a producer, we're working with a person who owns the IP, and look, we understand. But sometimes the people who has no like art for eye, they want to put a little bit in it, is because they want to say, we did something too. We did this. I did this, or whatever, right? Sorry. That was just just like me talking.
Your experience.
Yeah,
it's fine.
In Japan, you sometimes get producers that are similar to American ones. You also sometimes find good producers in America. The original producer of the animation was a really good guy. He understood my work and didn't give me stupid requests. However, he had to leave due to family issues. But his successor, called Spencer Lamb, was awful. He like called him out.
Name drop. Name drop.
Yeah, so we know not to ever work with this guy. So many requests, he frustratingly stated, change this, change that. It was always frustrating. And if these requests were coming in from the Wachowskis, I would at least respect that, as because they came with the Matrix. So who was this new producer compared to that? He explained that he was the gatekeeper to the Wachowskis, and unless he could be convinced, he wouldn't bring my work to them. Yeah. So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I actually I think it's fine. That I'll just based on NDA, I won't say too much. But there's a couple games that I worked on that was originally that was actually canceled. Right, this game was canceled. It's because I think something happened. However, there was a gatekeeper. Right, it was like we want to make this really really cool art. But then the producer was like, no, I think you should change it. It's because this producer was the only person that has contact with like the original creator of this IP. So you need to these are the producers that sort of needs to be sort of like they need to learn, or you can't work with them. And the thing is that the producers are actually, even though they don't do any of the creative work, they actually hold a lot of power. It's because producers move up the chain of ladder or the chain a lot quicker than artists do. And like you can get a producer, like associate producer that you worked with in this project, and all of a sudden 5 years later they're running the entire project of a new IP, right? Like a very good example is a person that I worked with. I interned at Nickelodeon in 2010, 2011, no, 2012. I interned at Nickelodeon, and I interned with this girl. And I think she was like, and then afterwards she became an associate producer, and then within 3 years she's running her show. She becomes like a manager, and she was in charge of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like animated series.
Wow.
Like super cartoony one. She became the manager. I'm like, whoa. And for me, like I'm barely like moving up the chain to become an artist. It's because producers are they go up a lot faster. So that's the reason why in the art industry, the animation tech industry, any kind of like creative tech industry, art or animation or games, everyone knows everyone. So the thing is that like if one person says, oh, this producer is crap or this artist is hard to work with, you will get blacklisted like instantly. If you are a hard person to work with. That's one thing, right? Like getting hired, the first thing they ask is like how they don't ask if this person is a good artist. They don't ask if this person is good at what they do. They ask if this person good to work with. Are they cool? Right.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
but yeah. Let's see. Wow, there's a lot of let's see. Hollywood is now concentrating on story. They they are, but the thing is that they're also putting in a lot of things.
She said another comment before. I don't think Hollywood is now concentrating on
Oh,
story.
I don't think. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. They. I think if they are, they're not. They're concentrating on their own agenda of their story. They're like, we need to change this to fit the modern day storytelling, right? We need to do this. We need to change this to change modern, for the modern audience. And the people who are originally loving these IPs, it's not for us anymore, right? But let's see. Neil started following this woman on Instagram who started trending and looked like Abby, so she might have been casted. Yeah, it could be, right? Since they already announced that this is already it's already happening, it could be true, right? Let's see. Let's do one more. I guess they have steady supply of testosterone.
Yeah, that's actually in the back of my mind. If ever when you mentioned earlier they needed a T, it's like it's not isn't really sustainable in a post-apocalyptic world. That's what that was at the back of my mind.
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
it's not feasible.
sorry, I was just cracking up.
Yeah.
Sorry. The handling of situation, Watanabe said that when I went to Los Angeles for the recording sessions, I told the team that if I saw that producer, I would just punch him in the face. The producers ended up not coming to the recordings, which is unheard of. He's like, I'm gonna punch the shit out of you. Well, the thing is that, like, if you have one person, like, you are the sole creator of this show, this big thing that everyone loves, and then you have this producer that's like stopping your every move, or gatekeeping you from like getting your story across, because this is your story. Like, I can definitely see why, right? Let's see. Of course, Watanabe is far from the first Japanese creator to express massive disappointment in the West's handling of their creations. Oh shit, the Dragon Ball. Okay, here we go. Most notable among the creators of the original Dragon Ball mangaka Akira Toriyama, who after witnessing the James Wong disaster that was Dragon Ball Evolution, felt the need to produce Dragon Ball Super in order to undo the damage of live action outing did to his legacy. Yes.
Legacy.
Right? Because after Dragon Ball GT, Dragon Ball GT, there was nothing Dragon Ball related. So the only thing that people were able to get that's Dragon Ball related was the video games. There was no manga, there was nothing. So that was his legacy. The last thing was a live action adaptation of Dragon Ball, and it sucks. And the thing is, it sucks so bad, it was number 1 on IMDb until recently. Even until recently, because Velma is worse. Oh man. But yeah, so it's I hope, look, I hate, okay, I don't hate it that much, but I don't like it when Hollywood does this. And do I like bitching all the time and complaining, like, about these things that are near and dear to us? No. But the thing is, this has to be said. It's because if it's not said, people are just gonna be like, oh, you didn't say anything about it, right?
Yeah.
So and the thing is that they need to know that it's not okay to produce crap like this. And I hope that we ultimately just want to be entertained. We ultimately just want things that are interesting, things that don't shit on the original stuff that we love. This is our escapism.
Yeah.
And if you are going to shoehorn in these, identity politics and these woke idea that's in this, or the message, then it's gonna be like, dude, why are we getting these, right? Why are we getting these crap that, like, no one asked for? Why did you change this character? I originally was really, really connected to this character. Why did you bastardize this character that I'm in love with? Well, because it's not made for you. It's made for the modern audience. And the thing is, it's such a terrible thing to do, especially like with the new stuff that's coming out. right? Like, and the thing is, it's more for the, like you said, Grae, like earlier, it's more for the younger folks now. It's not for us. It's more for the new people. And if this is like, oh, well, like the new Little Mermaid is gonna be a black Little Mermaid, and if you look at all the art that's coming out for it, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying that they're changing things, and all the art that's coming out for it, like little kids books and stuff like that. Even the Little Mermaid character at Disneyland is going to be changed up. I actually saw one of the job postings saying that they're looking for an African American to play Little Mermaid.
Mhm.
So they're already doing it. They're already replacing all the stuff that we love and we grew up with. So yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and read this. Did I do this already? Yeah, we already did that. So let's see. They are paying more attention to checking off a list of who or what needs to be represented. Yeah, like
Yeah.
if you, I think the Oscars, like, 50% of the cast needs to be some kind of representation, right? It needs to be like a person of color, a person from the trans community, LGBTQ community. It needs to be a woman, like 50%, or you won't get nominated, right? So the fact that they are already doing this and no female directed movies got nominated for a female best director, you know that the movie sucks, right? Um, don't get me started on Naruto. They goofed that ending up so bad. Are you talking about Naruto or are you talking Boruto? And I think Boruto is still going right now. I think I only stopped at Shippuden. I watched a little bit of Boruto.
Yeah.
Um,
Boruto's still ongoing.
yeah, okay. Shingo Yamashita animated the Naruto fights. He's a master class at warping characters for expressive shots. Yes, and I love that about Japanese anime, and that's the reason why, imagine, Grae, since you're like really into Spy Family right now. Imagine down the road, all of a sudden, you hear yours like coworker saying that, oh, why is your husband always telling you to do this kind of stuff? Why don't you stand up for yourself? You're a strong
Ugh.
woman. Why don't you just take charge and teach Anya all this? Why does he have to do all that stuff? Imagine hearing that kind of shit in your stuff. And you're like, dude, what the hell? Why are they changing my shit? Right. So I don't know. Like, it's and of course, like, and they're gonna say, oh, why are you so mad? It's not made for you. It's like, dude, I bought this. I bought the whole entire fucking the series and stuff. Like, why? Of course, I paid money for this. That's why I'm pissed off. Yeah. American investors in companies have a say in what happens. So I've heard, from their own ideas to even throwing their family members in. It's wild. Yeah, it's, I don't know. It seems like a lot of Hollywood stuff that's coming out, like, have a lot of like nepotism and a
Yeah.
lot of
It's all
things
about
that,
the money
yeah, absolutely.
for
Um,
sure.
oh, yo, Dave, what's going on? I'm very lucky I was not on tonight. I can't hold my tongue a lot on a lot of these topics, the stories I have. Yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
we'll have you on next week.
Next week.
Yeah, we'll have you on next
we
week.
can talk about it next week.
You're talking about Naruto coming up, bro? Oh, okay. I I have one thing that I didn't like about, for y'all who don't want to get spoiled. I'm gonna talk a little bit about it for Naruto. And great, that's you too if you don't want to get spoiled. I won't say names, so you won't know who I'm talking about. The final arc of Naruto Shippuden, I wish they focused on the main bad guy instead of coming up with a new bad guy. It's because that main bad guy is so badass, and they sort of sidelined this character. I'm like, who the fuck, who is this new character? And they added in like a bunch of shit that I didn't really care about. I wish they focused on the main bad guy, because out of all the villains, he was like, holy shit, he single-handedly did this to a bunch of people. Holy crap, I want to see more of him. And all of a sudden, he just disappears at the end. I'm like, what? Anyway, sorry. Get bro, exactly. Yeah. See, yeah. So yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, out of nowhere, it's like the company was like, we're just like, oh, we need this to go on a little bit more. So, anyways, sorry. All right, so
Okay.
let let's go ahead and I'll go another article after our the Last of Us stuff. But we need to talk about the Last of Us. Let's talk about episode 2. So what's it called again? What what were your thoughts? I know they changed a lot of stuff, but what are your thoughts on episode 2? I thought I like episode 1 a little bit more. I think that has that impactful like first scene. But I think episode 2 is getting there. But I think there's a couple of things that I wish they added in. I think it was I think at the end of episode 1, right? Um, you see them go to that tower, that building that's about to fall down, right? Was that scene completely cut out in
The tower,
episode 2?
the tower that was about to fall out. You mean
Do you remember?
while they were inside it in the game?
Yeah, yeah. Do you
Oh,
remember when they were going in and it was like super super dark, and then it's the first time you encounter a clicker.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that scene's completely removed, right? Because I remember like I remember going in, the building was like lopsided, so you had to like go through like different floors. You
Yeah,
encounter the
yeah.
first clicker for the first
Mhm.
time. And I think that wasn't like because in episode 2, if it starts off with the flashback in Jakarta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
it talks about like the fungus, you see it moving and stuff like that. And then you see
Yeah.
that the scientist or the doctor sort of doing a dissection or something of like this lady. And you see something coming out of the mouth, and then she sort of leaves, right? And then the following scene is daytime, and they're already on top of the roof or something like that. I forgot. Like they're sort of like
They
walking.
were
No, they're
just
walking on a bridge,
they were
right? They're
in
walking on a bridge.
a abandoned building. They were in an abandoned. So what how that in the game is like when it was revealed that Ellie was actually infected. Joel and Tess were like, "Oh shoot. Oh shoot, she's infected. That's why the Fireflies value her so highly."
Mhm.
Then they just said, "Okay, screw it. Let's just go along." In here, they interpreted it as, okay, Ellie's infected. We need to see if she's what she's saying is true. So they waited out for the rest of the day first. They didn't just immediately go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one of the good things I said. It's like that's the more realistic take. Like if someone says, oh, I'm immune. Of course, you have the first thing you would think is it's
bullshit.
yeah, exactly, bullshit. You're gonna get infected really soon. It's like, okay, if she's telling the truth, she's not gonna turn in a couple of hours, which they did, in contrast to the movies. So in the series, which I said I liked because I got a lot of flack for what was that? There was one concern that I brought up. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
the one network thing. I'm not 100% on board with that one network concept. It's like my rationality was like, so if one group gets alerted, does like everyone else get alerted? Because how interconnected they all are.
Oh
Supposedly, like
yeah.
people, yeah, people were like saying, people were telling me in the comments like that was just a way to explain the concept of horde. So if they tried to explain proximity, it would be hard. But I don't know. I'm still not fully on board on it up to now. But
Okay.
I
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
okay.
a hive mind, right? It's like
Mhm, mhm.
it
Yeah.
sort of feel like, okay, if this okay, because we saw that like when they entered the building, and then like it's like, oh, everyone is dead, and then you see like the first, like I guess the, I don't know what we call them, like a zombie or something, like the dead, and then Joe shoots it, right? And then you see the little fungus comes up and goes onto the hand, right? And then all of a sudden you see on the outside it happens to another one and it wakes them up. I'm like, that's sort of, yeah, that is a little weird.
Mhm.
That is the, it's like I hope they do more to explain the concept, but as
Yeah.
of right now,
Yeah.
I'm not liking that concept where it's like the fungus it's all like we interwoven into like other funguses or fungi that's in that's on Earth, and then it's a hive mind. If you step on that fungus, the fungus from like 10 miles away will know. I'm like, that is sort of wacky in my opinion. Um, but let's see. Corey said they're deciding to if to let her live or die. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, that okay, but that I think you addressed that, Grae. Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Where like, yeah, if in real life, if we found out a person is bitten and didn't change, we're like, you sort of that you're like you're suspicious, right? You're like, I'll wait, and it's probably easier to traverse the in reality, it's actually easier to like go look for shit when it's like daytime, right? It's like, okay, it's raining. It's probably better for us to like just hunker down, wait it
Yeah.
out until the rain passes, and it does make sense, right? It's I do know that I know Neil Druckmann and for whoever the showrunner is, did say they are going to be taking liberties to change some stuff from the game that makes more sense. Is because you're going to start asking more questions and more questions, like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Why did this person do this? Why did this person do that? And it doesn't make sense. Cool. Yeah, they needed that scene. Okay, so they took one network from the actual cordyceps, but in the show it's way OP. They should have just let a single type infected that was shout, because in the hive mind, and the hive mind now exists. That means that there is a hierarchy system, which means that there is a big boss waiting for them that eclipses everything, which is that bloater. I'm assuming. I'm assuming the bloater is going to show up later. But but yeah. So okay. So so they did go to that building, but it was just during daytime, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
All right. So
But
then
it didn't collapse like in the game. It's like they encountered the clicker. Well, actually, there were multiple clickers, so they justified the split with tests with multiple clickers instead of a building collapsing. That's how they improvised it. I think probably because a collapsing building might have been a lot more work. That would have entailed a lot more. That's what I think.
I can totally see it. Right. It's just like, all right. So like the CG department is like, oh, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go. They're gonna go in, and then they're gonna look all this stuff, and then the clicker's gonna show up, and it's gonna be like the game's gonna be freaking cool, and then the building's about to collapse, and there's like, yeah, but we have like, $50,000 for this budget, and it's like, all right, so what's gonna happen is we're gonna cut to daytime, and they're not gonna go into the building anymore. It's because I'm assuming because it's gonna be super expensive, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like it's like the props and the visual effects of the show so far, it seems like it's half and half. It's like half CG, half practical effects. It's because some of the clickers up close look really good. Like when you see the one that's like the first clicker you see, you're like, that looks good. It doesn't look CG. It looks like they actually molded that shit and put it on the guy's face. And it looks great. And same thing with a couple of the other Zambinos you see later on. Okay. Yeah. So I guess they completely omitted that. And then immediately that they go into what's it called again? The museum, right? Was that the museum team after that?
The museum. Wait. First it was no, sorry. At first was the hotel. The part where it was
the hotel.
The hotel.
Okay.
There's the water was a bit elevated, so it's like, oh, Ellie was like, oh, I can't swim, which is part of the game, so it makes sense. Yeah, she really can't swim in the first game. So yeah, that's the part where Joel and Ellie start to get to know each other, which I'm okay with. It's like there's the start of their growing relationship eventually. It's like at first they're kind of like hostile to each other. Oh, I don't give a crap about you. I don't give a crap about you. Then after it's when they got up the balcony, the top of the museum. That's where Tess explains the hive mind stuff. Like, okay, we need to circle. Okay. We need to circle around them. So, and they figured the best way to do that is to head for the museum. Sorry, the museum.
Okay.
Yeah.
One part I actually do like, because this was in the game too, was like, can I have a gun? It's like, no. And like it's like, oh, can you have a gun? And you're like, no, you can't. And I like that, and I love the fact that they put in the video game music. Like you could hear like the guitar, the guitar riffs, and it's like, oh, this is from the game. You can know. And what's that part where she's like messing with her switchblade? Was that in the game? Because I do like that little back and forth where I was like, Ellie was asking Joel, was like, where are you from, and where you and keep asking questions, like, no more questions, like you can see like that. I'm not sure if that was in the game because I don't remember that scene. But the thing is, I did play that game like last year. So and that was still really, really early in the game. So
yeah, it wasn't established in the games. Like in the game, it's on it right away. It shows that Ellie has a knife. They didn't really dedicate a scene to introduce that she has a knife. They probably thought they would need it, especially what happens later we know what will happen later in part 1. So she's gonna be using that knife a lot. We know she's gonna be using that knife a lot. So I think it makes sense that they introduced that she has the knife. Because she'll be using it in many instances.
Do we know how many episodes season 1 will be?
Uh I think the same as Velma, 10 between 10 to
10?
12. I'm
I
pretty sure 10 to 12.
I hope some of the episodes are like an hour and 20 minutes. It's because like sometimes it feels, because here's the thing. When you're playing the game, of course, like you're trying to make sure that you don't do this kind of stuff. Like I'm wondering if they're traveling too fast. Like maybe by episode 4, like they're already Joel's already sick. It's like that.
Oh,
Joe got messed up and he's already sick or something like that. I
oh,
like
it's 9 episodes. So
9
I
episodes.
can see why they're going a little bit fast.
Yeah, it's sort of quick. I'm just like, okay,
Right.
because I thought it would be like at the middle or end of episode 3 that Tess dies.
Yeah,
But
me
it's
too.
like
Me
episode
too.
2, I was like, oh, that's sort of quick. But the thing is that
Yeah.
like, video game wise, your 40-hour, 30, no, it was like what, 18-hour game versus 9 hours versus
Yeah.
for a TV
Yeah.
show, right? Corey said, they said that the airborne spores wouldn't work for the show at all. So they had to come up with the tendril thing. I'll give them some leeway on the idea to see how it plays out. Yeah. I think as of right now, I'm still sort of like, not sure how that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat because it still stands for me what I said last week. It's like in the game, they featured the spores in compacted areas. So why not justify it in the same sense here, the TV series? Like you don't see them wear the gas mask in the entire game. It's only, oh, there's spores, put on your mask. Then they immediately remove it when the spores are gone. So it's already established in the game that they're not everywhere. They're in highly, highly concentrated areas. So
Yeah.
for me, why not do the same in the TV series?
Yeah. I think for me, I think they should have treated the spores like, how mold works. Like if the area is too humid and then you have molds growing on the walls or something like that. Maybe they should, like, if an area is extremely, extremely humid and it's not cleared out, and then like it could be like, in a sewer or something like that. There definitely be spores or something like that. And for me, I would have liked to see the spores, because I thought that was a big thing, how people got infected really quickly, is because it's
Yes.
airborne, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion, they made Ellie way more talkative. It's almost a little tiring.
That's tiring.
Um, I I would say so. It's but I know Ellie is somewhat talkative in the
Yeah,
game.
she's a bit of a smart mouth in the game too.
Yeah, I
So
I do like her smart assery in the game though. It's sort of like, well, duh, it's because she's a kid that's born during this like crazy like post-apocalyptic thing, right?
yeah,
So she's always gonna try to question stuff, and the fact that like she can't get affected when she's bitten, she's gonna feel like she's a she's like immune to everything, right? And then of course, like Joel sort of corrects her, like, you're not. Is it Joel or Tess? I think Tess said it. You're not immune to getting ripped apart, and I do like that. It's like, hey, even though you're immune, doesn't mean that you can't get killed, right? And it sort of like puts her in her place, and that's something that I don't think that was mentioned in the game. I think that's like a dialogue they added, and I do like that.
yeah,
And this is
yeah.
where like some of the creative some of the creativity that the writers come up with, where they're just like, oh, we're gonna add this in, is because that's something someone would actually say. It is because we've seen a lot of things on media where it's like, no one would say that. No one would say something that's stupid, right? Like it's like that's super super dumb. But and then I do like them once they get into the museum, after like, okay, yeah, this is the whole hive mind thing that's happening with the fungus. They go into the museum, and I do like that. I think that part where it's like we try to be quiet. I think that was cool, because it wasn't clickers that was in the museum. It was just regular like zombie creatures, right? In the game,
It's both.
it was both. Okay,
Both. Yeah.
yeah, I think this one. I don't know. In the game, it seemed like there was was way more, and I think the show only had like 3 or 4.
Yeah. In the game, it's like the yeah, there were several regular dudes, the ones that can see, and a couple of clickers, and they were kind of separated from one another, if I'm not mistaken. Here,
Okay,
they made it like all of them were clickers in that area at the time.
okay. Oh, do you have any like I know sometimes you have like notes and screenshots. Do you have any? with you?
Oh no. I wasn't able to this for this week.
Oh no. I'll probably just pull up an image right now.
Yeah.
That's episode 2. But yeah, what are your thoughts about the casting? Because I don't think we're able to discuss about the casting. What do you think about the casting for the
The Last
characters?
of Us.
So yeah,
I think it's okay. I may be forgetting someone here and there, but overall, yeah, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal. And though I'm pretty sure in season 2, Bella Ramsey is gonna be replaced. She's gonna be replaced in season 2.
for an older person,
For
do you think so?
yeah,
Like,
because the time gap is really big. In season 2, it's Ellie's more yeah, she's more grown up now. She's more capable compared to the first game. So they're
okay,
really good. The time gap is too huge for Bella Ramsey to stick around. I think that's my take. I don't think she's gonna be yeah, her physique in taking on Abby, it's just not there.
so
It's
do
just
you think they're gonna pull a House of the Dragon? Like, it's gonna be like
yeah, yeah.
a
Uh-huh.
time jump?
Yep, for sure.
Huh? I never thought of that actually. Yeah, because she is really tiny. Like,
Yeah.
we do know that that Bella Ramsey, she's actually pretty small, right? So if they are gonna be pulling a House of the Dragon, I want to see who they're gonna be cast. It's because a lot of people look, I like Pedro Pascal in Game of Thrones. Okay. I like Bella Ramsey in Game of Thrones. But a lot of people gave a lot of crap. It's like she doesn't look like Ellie, right? She doesn't look like Ellie. And a lot of people say that she's ugly and stuff like that. Like for me,
I-
I think she's fine. I think she's
yeah.
fine. Yeah, but let's see. See, I laugh a lot. I do not like them. If you guys have ever seen that scene from the movie Prisoners with Hugh Jackman, he was the ideal choice for Joe. The thing is, I believe they actually made like a fan poster with The Last of Us with I think with Logan. It's because it's sort of this. If you think about it, it's sort of like Logan needs to bring X-23 to the quote unquote Garden of Eden, which was like Canada or something like that. And he was old and decrepit, and like he has to protect her and stuff like that. And he has a beard, and of course, like like I that would be cool. I remember they were, I think someone mentioned that they wanted to cast a different girl for Ellie, and the person, I think the actor was that they wanted to play Ellie actually looks a lot like her. But a lot of people now, like, they don't really care. They care about, they more care about how the actor plays the character versus if you look like the character, right? Like, you can have a person that looks really really good for the part and doesn't do well, sort of like Brandon Routh in Superman Returns, right? He like, that movie wasn't that great. Even though he sort of looks like Christopher Reeves, he's not, he didn't do a good job, or it's just whoever directed it didn't direct him good enough. But Pedro doesn't even use a Texan accent, but Tommy does. My brain still yeah. So here's the thing, yeah, because Joel in the game, he has a very strong
Wrong
southern, like,
accent.
southern
Yeah.
accent, right? In this one,
Yeah.
it's like it's on and off. It's like you hear him with the southern accent, but you don't hear him, because to
Yeah.
be honest, I don't even know what his actual regular
Yeah, you
accent
can't
is.
help to compare the voice acting of Troy Baker because Troy Baker is really really good. So yeah,
Oh
I also
yeah,
get that
hell
feel.
yeah.
I also
Okay,
get that feel for sure.
but let's see. All right, let's see. So you guys should react to that scene of the prisoners called "Where's My Daughter?" I think. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter? Hugh Jackman. Oh damn. Yeah, he would have been good. All right, so let me pause this really quick. All right, we'll get this on screen.
Okay.
All right, so
You said they cried when you left them. Look at me. You said they cried when you left them.
Oh yeah.
They cried when you left them.
oh wow, this would have been great.
Yeah.
Where is he? Tell me where they are. Tell me. Man, I'll stop. I'll stop as soon as you tell me.
Oh man, brutal.
Yeah. I kind of agree here.
Haven't seen this movie.
Yeah, me neither. But
Why won't you tell me? Huh? Why don't you just fucking tell us?
Damn. Missed opportunity, man. Shit.
yeah, I'll tell you where this would have been really perfect.
Damn, this is good.
Yeah.
He knows. I can see it in his eyes. He fucking knows. I know.
Oh, he
you
would have been
know.
so good.
Why aren't you fucking telling me? Why?
Oh shit.
Get him up.
Oh
Get him
shit.
up. Get up.
It's hammer time.
It's
Get up.
sorry.
Get up.
Yeah. But it's
Damn, this is intense.
You gonna make me use this?
this would be perfect in a particular scene in The Last of Us.
Use this.
Oh yeah.
Fine.
Fuck.
You doing this to yourself?
Oh shit.
Just tell us. Tell me. Tell me!
Oh, shit.
Tell me! Tell me! Tell me! Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?
Goddamn, even Terrence Howard is fucking scared. He's like, oh shit, this guy's fucking crazy. Holy crap, that was insane. No, stop. That was crazy.
Yeah,
Damn, that would have been so good.
Yeah, that would have been okay. I'm gonna jump ahead for those. Okay, I'm gonna assume some people in chat did not play the game and is currently watching. So this is gonna be quite some spoilers. Do you remember the scene in what do you call this? Where Joel loses consciousness in the university. Then you control as Ellie, right?
Yeah.
Then she gets abducted by the leader of the cannibals. Then suddenly Joel wakes up. Then he ends up grabbing two of the dudes, two of the henchmen. That scene would have been perfect.
Oh shit.
That scene would have been 100% on point.
Oh man, dude, that would have been perfect. The thing is that Hugh Jackman is like a fucking chameleon. Like whenever he's in a role, he goes like 110% on everything. And that's the reason why like I'm so glad that he's gonna be playing Wolverine again. But like when you saw Logan, like the first I haven't seen that movie. I sort of do want to watch that movie now. But when I first saw Logan, I'm like, damn, it's so good. It's like I loved Logan. It's probably one of my favorite like superhero movies, right? Like in terms of like Marvel. Like, and the fact that like it was just it was a complete like different story from the original Old Man Logan, because Old Man Logan was like a bunch of different series, but like this Old Man Logan was like, it's like this guy is distraught. His superpowers aren't really working anymore, and like you could tell like he's about to die, and I think that like just his acting, like especially like when he's trying to like talk to Professor X, and I think later on like couple of the emotional scenes, like you can tell like man, like Hugh Jackman is a really good actor, and I think it was just a complete missed opportunity in my opinion. I think maybe there's too many white people, and then Neil Druckmann's like, yeah, no, like yeah, he's perfect and everything, but yeah, we need representation, so we're gonna switch up some stuff, right? It's sort of like switching up Sally. right? For like it, it's not white anymore; it's a black daughter. So so it's like switching up a bunch of characters. One character I do like in this show that like correct me if I'm wrong, Grae, but the person that plays Marlene,
Mhm.
she plays as the actual Marlene in the game, right?
Oh, really? Oh, that I didn't know. But
According to
I
what
was
I
like,
heard, that I'm not sure if that's true, but I heard that's the reason why that one was like perfectly cast is because that is her.
yeah, it's like, yeah, like 100%. Like, yeah, that's Marlene. Like, no objections there.
Yeah. Uh yeah, so yeah, that's my pick for Joel. Yeah, good movie. It's perfect for that part. Yeah. Logan was super good. Yeah. Oh, man. That would have been really cool. But I think in my opinion, I think the casting was okay.
Yeah,
It's not like it could have been better. In my opinion, of course, there can
yeah,
always be room for improvement. But in terms of like the scenes that we see, like I probably do want to rewatch this episode again. I have my wife hasn't seen it yet, so probably rewatch it with her. Um, I think that the first scene in episode one, like the first like sequence, rather, in before everything went to shit, I think that was pretty damn well done. Like
yeah, yeah,
right when they get into the car, right, is because the old lady and the neighbor that was added in. I remember because I don't remember that.
yeah.
The whole watch thing was like 1-to-1. Oh, I stole it from you. What are you? Oh, yeah, because I'm a drug dealer. I think that's
Yeah,
pretty
they
that's pretty
actually
cool.
added on that. It's like, I actually stole money from you, which makes more sense if you think about it.
Yeah,
Because where did you get the money, right?
yeah. In my opinion, there's another thing. I think I forgot who mentioned this, but I do 100% agree. I think their relationship between Sally and Joel doesn't seem like a father and daughter relationship. It seems like they're buddy buddy, right?
Oh,
You
okay.
know, I'm not sure if that was like that in the game because you don't get too much of like the Joel
Yeah,
and Sally
y-
interaction in the
yeah,
beginning, right? So
yeah. Because yeah, I kind of agree with that direction actually.
mhm,
Because you're introducing this to a much broader audience who has not played the games. So you
yeah,
really need to take that time to have the infection spread first. Unlike in the game where it's kind of abrupt, like snap, it's here. It's the evening and the virus is here in Texas.
mhm,
At least in this one, the TVs, they spent the time like, oh, first was in Jakarta, now it's slowly spreading all throughout. I think people who have not played the games needed that context first to get the idea that, yeah, this is a very, very deadly virus that's
yeah,
engulfing the world. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm all aboard for that one.
yeah. I think it was I did watch Jeremy's reaction or his review on the from Jeremy from Geeks and Gamer. I did watch his review after watching the first episode, and I think he's 100% when he said normies will eat this up. And it is
Mhm.
like everyone when the first episode dropped, everyone on my like social media, like especially on Facebook, was talking about it. It's like, oh my god, finally a very very like good like episode, like a great like video game adaptation. We finally get something good. And the thing is, like I mentioned before, uh I think the reason why everyone is giving this high praises, I think this is like I said earlier, finally a good video game adaptation, right? Finally, something that's actually faithful. And I think that's where people are like, why are you complaining? We're finally getting something good. Like, and of course, like we're
Yeah,
complaining more about like we're being a little nitpicky, right? And and the thing is like the fact that like I know that you are one of the people in my chat was like, you have to play this game. You have to play this game. It's like if you don't play the second one, play the first one. It's like you have to play it. And I agree. It's like, okay, yeah, this is really good. And I think the storytelling is pretty good too. But I think it's of its time, right? This came out what like 10 years ago.
yeah, around
And
that time.
it's like what are they going to change, right? Like how much are they changing first, right? The spores thing, I understand. They already mentioned it. What else are they going to change moving forward? Our characters going to be changing. Stories are hopefully the story beats remain the same, right?
Yeah,
Corey said, I think the casting is okay so far. I don't like Pedro. at all as a person, but in my opinion, he really pulled off the dynamic being damaged by his daughter's killing and losing
Yeah,
part of himself. Yes,
that
that's
kind of reminds me actually. What I really liked in the first episode that was not tackled in the games is, do you remember the final part of episode 1 where he encounters with the Federal Guard that he's buddy with? Like he was selling drugs to this guy, right?
oh yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
encounter Yeah, I really like the part where he flashes his rifle at him. Then when the flash of light came to him, he recalled his final moments with Sarah. Do you remember that part where he got
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
flashback?
yeah,
That was
yeah.
really well done for me. I really like that part. It's like, because that was never really tackled that much in the games, apart probably from a few dialogues. Like, I mean, it had to have damaged Joel in a large capacity, even 20 years later, like how
Mhm.
Sarah died and everything. So the fact that the game kind of fleshed out that more, I think that's a really good that's a really huge plus that it was tackled here. Unlike in the games where they make it seem like he's fully moved on from it, or at least mostly. At least here he's still struggling from it, which I think is really good for character development.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely agree with you. Yeah. I think yeah, he sort of like got like PTSD, and it's like I didn't do anything, and I let it happen, and yeah, I 100% agree with you. Yeah, in the game, like after yeah, the daughter's name is Sarah, not Sally, right? I think I misspoke. Um, yeah, after that scene, and it's like a flashback from 20 what like
20
20
years.
yeah 20 years later. It's
Yeah.
like he said, oh yeah, he because he never talks about it. I think the only time you ever talk about it is like when you saw a photo or something like that of her. And yeah, in this one, I'm glad that's something they added in. I'm like, yeah, like he still thinks about his daughter all the time, and he's still wearing that broken watch all the time. And to be honest with you, that once shit hit the fan and the whole car scene, I was like, this is like the game. This is like the game. The whole plane thing happened, and I think the whole part where Sarah dies, I think that was probably the best part of the show so far. I
Yeah.
think that first sequence of like of events where uh where he's like what you want me to do what okay okay and then he shoots and kills her, and I think that one hit, in my opinion, it if it lasted a little longer, maybe like another 10 seconds, I think it would hit a little harder. I think that's what my wife said too. I think she said that, like, yes, it's sad. He's like, no, please, no. And it's like, you're okay, right? And as a person who just recently became a father, this hits a little different now. Like stuff with like
Yeah, for
kids and
sure.
stuff like that hits is a little different. And I think that if they lingered on a little bit more, it would have been a little bit better. I think it happened a little too like happens, and then it's like crying, and then boom, 20 years later, right? I think if it happened a little longer, it would have been nice. Um, let's see. I don't like the in-depth explanations of the cordyceps. As someone who is really into the world building, it's hard to convince once you enter that in the scientific realm. I I I I think that's what happened when I think it was like whoever's Mason. I think that's the director or the showrunner's name. I think he said he kept asking questions, right? He kept asking Neil Druckmann's like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And he kept asking questions over and over again. And that's what's led to them changing some stuff. Like the spores are no longer there. Some of the stuff they're adding in is now you open up a whole can of worms again, somewhere else. You're like, okay, how did that make sense? So I think it's just because they trying to make everything make so much sense that sometimes things just like doesn't make sense anymore. I don't know. But yeah, but that's a very good take, Grae, with the whole thing with him and his daughter. The whole at the end where he beats up the cop is because I forgot what happens. I think they ended up shooting them or something. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
like these are two cops or two federal, like the Fedras, right?
yeah. He ended up dying. The the Federer he was buddies with because they were transacting inside the QZ.
Yeah, like he beat the shit out of him, and then
Yeah,
and I do like the fact that like from time to time he looks at his fist, he's like, oh yeah, I beat the shit out of him, and he's like,
it-
he does. I think subtlety like that definitely builds the character. Um, like, but I do agree with Corey earlier. I'm not a big fan of Pedro Pascal as a person, but I like the stuff that he does. Like I like him in Mandalorian, Game of Thrones, and this one he did a good job in that opening scene, which is really great. They should have kept the science away from the story and really focus on how normal people outside of the realm would deal with such an event. Yeah, I like some stuff doesn't need to be explained, right? Like sometimes it's better, like you don't, oh, this person is this way or the world's it's just the way it is. Let's just move on. I think when you sort of unravel and dissect each and every little like morsel of, and because you want things to make sense, it's gonna start looking very stupid. I think
yeah,
I think that's the reason why like Walking Dead sort of became the way it is. It's sort of like they're trying to explain something, but no, but now this doesn't make sense. They're trying to explain it now. This doesn't make sense, and it's not like following a lot of things. And I think that's the reason why. Well, of course, a lot of people checked out after Glenn died, but yeah. So, uh, what are your thoughts on what's it called again? How in the game when when Tess passed, when she died, she sacrifices herself. Was she
Mhm.
fighting against like the undead, or was she fighting against humans?
She was fighting against Fedra agents. That's the one of the
Yeah,
major chains. Yeah,
yeah,
she was
okay,
fighting.
yeah. So I was like, that's changed completely.
Yeah, yeah. But if you think about it, it makes the setup they made makes more sense. It's what happens after in her final moments that I find kind of odd. Because
Mhm,
yeah, it's like in the game, I could be wrong. Chat can correct me on this. When they arrive at the meeting point with the fireflies, it's just them dead. Like no explanation. Zero. We just know that, oh shoot, they're dead. What do we do now? That's it. That's it.
mhm,
We have no idea what happened to these people. So it doesn't make sense that they were shot by Fedra agents, because otherwise they would have known. They are like, oh shoot, Fedra agents are around. We need to head back. But
mhm,
right here, it makes more sense that some of them got infected and some of them wanted to protect themselves, which is why they ended up fighting each other. That makes more sense for me. It makes more
mhm.
sense that Tess is trying to protect them from the infected. So which is I'm fine with it. Because
Okay.
in the game, the Fedra came out of nowhere. Wherever they came from, I don't know. It's like they got alerted that there were fireflies there, then that's about it. This one, it
Mhm,
makes more sense. Like Tess was protecting Joel and Ellie in her final moments to the infected. Makes it has, for me, it has more meaning. It makes more sense. But the final part is the part that I am not quite sure is when the infected goes near Tess, when she was trying to light up the lighter, then they put more fungus in her mouth. Why? She's already infected. Why?
no, that was cringe as hell. Is because like I'm gonna fucking kiss you, and then the fungus comes out of my mouth. I thought that
Yeah,
was fucking weird as shit. I
yeah.
was
It's
like,
like
what? Why
what?
would I do
Why?
that?
Like, it made sense that she wasn't. The infected weren't going after her anymore because like
Yeah,
somehow
that's what I thought too. They were
she's
running
part of.
past her.
Yeah,
I was like, okay,
she's
they're not gonna infect her because she's already infected.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's what
So
I thought. And then all of a sudden they stopped. I was like, oh, never mind.
yeah,
Never
well,
mind.
what was that other? Well, as I said in my reviews, like maybe it's like a form of evolution. Like that's how a bloater becomes
Maybe.
to become a higher tier infected. Yeah, that's my speculation.
Yeah. Wait, is this true? Neil is an R34 artist for that change of death. Change my mind. What? Me? Wait, is that true? Are you trolling? Is Neil Druckmann actually an Rule 34 artist? Is he on a subreddit? Can you DM us the link? Sorry. Yeah, it was gratuitous, gross in my opinion. And it was a rough enough without having the tendrils, yeah, slowly moving through her mouth. Yeah, it was sort of weird. The fact that she just stood there too. I'm just gonna stand here and I'm gonna let you make out with me with this gross fungus moving tendril thing that's going into my mouth. and just like,
Yeah,
and it's like it's so yeah, it's definitely like okay, not needed. That's something like why couldn't you because as what we know in the game, she went out in the blaze of glory, right? Like they
yeah,
shot her. The Federation ends up shooting her. I'm not sure if she was able to take down someone. And then and then I know that the Fedra ends up chasing you eventually, right?
Yeah,
And then you have
yeah.
to take them down, and that's where you get
Mhm.
like the sniper rifle. But instead, in this one, they end up escaping, and the building blows up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think some stuff like they're like, okay, we need to change this is because it doesn't make sense and stuff like that. Look, and I do understand that. Yeah, I think zombies are definitely more like, or these undeads are definitely more scary.
Yeah.
And I do like
Yeah.
the fact like the clicking noise and the sound effects that they use is really great. But it's like it's going by pretty fast. It's going by pretty fast in my opinion. No, it was a sarcasm. All right. All right.
Yeah. Wait, let me backtrack a little. Yeah, because 2 of my 3 concerns in the video were addressed. There's still one more that we kind of fast track. What do you feel about Ellie getting bitten twice? In the exact same spot where she was first bitten to.
Did I miss that? Did she actually get bitten again?
She got bitten again. She got bitten again in the museum. Right when they got when all the clickers died, Ellie showed her arms like, oh no, I got bitten again in the exact same spot as her mark. It's like, what is she super mega hyper immune? Is that what they're trying to imply? That's why I said I intentionally went out of my way to say that in the video. It's like, why was she bitten again in the same spot? Like, what's it for? To prove that she's mega hyper immune? Because in the game, if she gets bitten again, it's game over. So she gets bitten twice.
So okay. So knowing that, I think they're trying to show that like this. I think this is like a creative liberty thing where they're changing a little bit thing. It's like, oh, since she's already got bit and she's immune to it, then what makes you think that she's not going to be immune to it when she gets bitten again? So that could be her where she's like saving whoever she's saving, so she got bit again so she can save that person. I don't know. Like it is sort of weird, but if she got bitten in a different spot, it probably make more sense. But
yeah, exactly.
In terms of the story, I think it's okay. I think it's okay that they did that. It's like, well, she's already immune. She's not gonna, if she get bit again, it's in her blood. She's immune to it. It's sort of like people who are like immune, like people who are like who has COVID but doesn't receive any symptoms. It's like that, like it's like not asymptomatic, right? So people who are like, I have COVID, but I'm immune to all the symptoms. So she is infected, but her body has enough of the antibodies to fight off the virus. So I like it does sort of make sense, but like
I agree too. Like if the showrunners wanted to emphasize more that she's really immune, but I would have gone for another bite mark rather than getting bit on the same spot.
Yeah,
it's like it's
that is weird.
Yeah.
All right. So Los Sales also tests death. It bothers me because now I see the cordyceps as a very intelligent social parasite that is aware of someone who recently got infected.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah, it's like it's like sentient, like self-aware, like tendrils that like maybe it's attached to. Wait, it is sort of weird if you actually think about it, right? What makes the fungus attached to like the human host? What is it that is it the blood that's in them that's attached to the red blood cells?
It's not clear yet.
But the quote unquote zombies are already dead. So what are they attached to? It's sort of like, what is it? Like, is it like the actual like flesh of the meat? Yeah, it's sort of like when you dissect stuff like that, it doesn't really make too much sense unless you have to, and then they have to explain it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, shouldn't it mean that they will leave Ellie alone? Yes, right. So I if what's it called again?
That only occurred to me now.
There you go.
That only occurred to me now. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second. I'm gonna head to the restroom really quick. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourself so you can entertain them, Grae.
Yeah. Yes. I didn't think of that. I should have mentioned that in the video, but maybe it's because her immunity. It's because of her immunity that the infected don't perceive Ellie in the same way that they perceive Tess when she was bitten. I think that's the best justification for it. So in a sense, yeah, it makes kind of yeah, Ellie's infection makes it in such a point that the infected doesn't count her as infected yet. But then again, yeah, she got bitten twice already, and it's still the same banana. They're still going after Ellie. But yeah, who knows? But overall, I'm still fine with the series. Like, contrary to what do you call this? It's I don't know. My video review came out as, I think the thumbnail came out as too strongly. I think I kind of implied that I did not like the episode, but I actually did. I even recommended it in the final moments of the video. And yeah, hoping that they, I don't know, maybe they'll explain it better in the incoming episodes. But yeah, how many? 7 episodes left. 7 episodes left. So yeah, and it's going a bit too fast. So I'm not sure if they will be able to pull it off. But I mean, yeah, hopefully it'll still turn out great. Because so far so good. It's still pretty good. If there's also something that kicking like no Phil, only Phil can click it. Also, if something that strong bites the crap out of you, it doesn't just make a little bloody mark. Yeah, for sure. Given the clicker relative to Ellie's size, that would have broken her arm off for sure. Yeah, so that's another thing, because her arm is kind of tiny for sure compared to the size of the clicker. That would have
Maybe
been
it was like a baby, like a baby,
or maybe just
a small one.
it swiped the teeth, so that's why the mark was it wasn't a full on bite.
Yeah, Bella Ramsey is relatively. She's tiny, like
Yeah,
she's
she
like
is.
probably like 5 foot, like or something like that. Not killing off Ellie is in the first game was the weakest possible way to end what was already a mediocre, rather generic story. I think Neil Druckmann already probably like wrote in like she probably wrote in like the whole story already and how he broke it down. I think I think what's it called again? At the end of the game, right? It's sort of like it's like, what should you do as Joel, right? It's like, would you want to use her as like, the lives of the many outweigh the lives of the few? So I'm gonna sacrifice you, even though you're sort of like my surrogate daughter at a time, right? At a time you already have that bond with her.
Yeah.
But I can save everyone. Or sure, I just keep you alive because I'm selfish. And of course, he went the selfish route, right? And this is a very humane thing, or like a human thing to do, is because you're like, a lot of people, if they know that their daughter or son or someone close to them has the ability to cure everyone in the world and stop this virus from happening because they have an antidote or a vaccine, right? Imagine if like your sister or your son or your daughter or someone had was completely immune to every strain of COVID. But the only way for you to actually make that vaccine was to kill that person. Would you do that? Right? And it's sort of a very hard thing to do. He's like, no, I would rather have people die because I'm selfish. And a lot of people will take that route. And I think it's sort of like a hard thing. It's sort of like Sophie's choice. Who would you rather save that's drowning, your wife or your mother? It's like that. It's so hard. But the thing is that majority of the time people will pick the selfish route is because we as humans are innately selfish. We think mostly about ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's a tough question. Bean is definitely tough questions that are asked, right? Yo, Robert, hi guys. I subbed to you since Nerdrotic or one of them in his circle gave y'all a shout out. Yo, thank you so much for the sub. I think it was
thank you.
Drunk 3PO.
Yeah,
I think Jay Drunk 3PO was one who gave us a shout out. I definitely appreciate him and for the shout out. He's almost I think he has less than 300,000 to get to 100,000. No, not 300. 30,000, sorry.
Yeah,
less than 30,000 to get 100,000. So hopefully we can get him to 100,000 this year. He's really I do believe it will happen. I do believe it will happen. But thank you so much for the sub, Robert.
Thank you for the sub.
Real life cordyceps don't invade the critical infrastructures of their host. They attach to the muscle fibers and secrete and metabolics and leave the brain alone. Is this sort of like that ant thing, or is like I forgot? I think it's either an ant or it's like some kind of bug insect where there's like this weird like fungus that like controls their body and the brain can't do anything about it, but like it'll control the body and it'll move the bug by itself, which
Yeah,
is
I heard
crazy.
something like that too. Yeah, I think it's the ant, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
and
that
I
sure
think
either.
that's the idea with the cordyceps here, where it's like, but like maybe the brain is still there, but your body is uncontrollable. Like you can't control your all your muscles are dead, is being taken over by this weird like virus that
Yeah,
controls your
kind of
muscles.
like the start of episode 1, where that TV show in
Yeah,
1968. Yeah, kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah. But what's it called again? But yeah, did you watch was there like a preview? I didn't get to see a preview. Was there a preview for this one?
Oh, I didn't
Or for
either. I
episode
didn't see
3?
it. If there was, I haven't seen it either.
Okay, in the game, what happens afterwards? Do you meet the brothers afterwards?
Uh, Given the pace of this
You
series,
might, huh?
I imagine they might make their appearance already in the next episode.
Oh, that I actually love that
Yeah,
part. Because yeah, holy crap. Yeah, if the brothers are gonna show up for the next one, it's like Sam and someone else, I believe.
yeah. I really
Sam and
hope they
Henry.
keep. Yeah, Sam. I really hope they keep some of the side stuff intact. Like, or was that? There was this book of jokes somewhere in that interaction between Sam and Ellie. It's like, it was a joke about pizza, and they didn't know what pizza is because they were born already during the infection.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I
yeah.
hope they keep some of that up because that one was really good.
I also do hope that they keep the comic and the whistling. I think those they need to keep in. Like what's this thing? Comic books, and she starts reading and she gets really, really into it. And then whenever Joel finds it, it's like, oh, I think Elliot will like this. And then like
Oh,
some of that side stuff I think would be really nice. And the whistling has to be a thing where she doesn't know how to whistle, and then she learns how to whistle later. I think that's a very good character development thing. Let's see. First episode, Dr. Newman said that the cordyceps goes into their brain. Oh, okay. Is a brain considered a muscle? It is. Is it? I'm not sure.
I'm not good with science.
Yeah, I don't know. I draw for a living. Wait, what's this? Cringe. Climate change caused the pandemic. Wait, didn't some doctor say that or something like that? They basically blamed it on like climate change. Like a lot of these things that are happening. Oh, the reason this happened because of climate change. And that's the reason why. Oh, the reason why racism is happening in the world because of climate change. sorry. Um.
Yeah, we forgot. They meet Bill first.
Yeah.
They meet
Bill.
Bill first. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Bill's
So
probably the next episode.
you meet Bill, who gives Joel the car, and then they lose the car, and then they meet the brothers after the hunters chase him through the city.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. All right. Cool. So you meet. So pretty sure. So Bill's gonna be next. Wait. So that means the bloaters might be sooner rather than later.
Oh,
Because
right.
right. Because after
Not,
you meet
not,
Bill, right?
wait. They're gonna need to change that story significantly, if not actually omit Bill.
Why?
Why? Because remember, their objective here is to get car batteries to get to Tommy. So if they get these batteries here, they don't need to complete their objective. Joel doesn't need to close the deal with the Fireflies because he has the truck already.
True.
Right?
Yeah. I would say maybe if they meet Bill and Bill's like, yeah, because we do know that I think one time you find a house and then you go inside and you look and the battery's missing, and then you need to go look for the car battery, and I think that's when you meet Bill, right? Maybe he took it or something.
You meet Bill because you need a car, because Joel was
Okay.
like, yeah, I know this person, he owes me a favor, so when we meet him, we're gonna ask for a car. That's his return to me. That was what happened in the game, but they're gonna need to change that here because that was Tess and Joel's objective, to get a truck to find Tommy, right? But so if he gets the truck right now, he doesn't. Joel, or at least in theory, Joel doesn't really need to commit to the Fireflies anymore.
Okay.
So yeah.
I'm wondering how they're gonna change things.
Yeah.
To
So it
be
should be
honest,
interesting.
this show, I would, as of right now, the first episode I give it like probably like an 8. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's fair.
pretty good. This second episode, it's like a 7.
Yeah.
Right. So I hope that the good parts that we remember from playing the game are still there. The Sam and Henry stuff, like that cannot change. Like you have to leave those guys there. It's because if they change that, the impact was so big is because you see how, because Sam and Henry are like, they're so close, right? And Joel and Ellie are complete opposites. They're not close at all, right? They're not there yet. So I think that has to be there. Majority of the big story beats have to be there. Like the fact that they go through the school, and then you see all these things, and like the whole part. Like I wonder if I'm pretty sure they're going to add in the DLC as part of like the episodes, right? Like
in the form of flashback, you mean?
Yeah. Right. Because you have to show that Ellie is.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was Marlene already mentioned it to Ellie in episode 1. You played the DLC, right? Did you play the DLC?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. It was already mentioned in episode 1. The DLC, it's gonna be spoilers even for you, but somewhere in episode 1, Marlene was talking to Ellie. She mentions a name named Riley. That's actually the story of the DLC. So the story of the DLC happens before the start of the game.
Oh, okay.
So if they translate it here, it has to be in the form of flashback. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I see. And was that girl that was with Marlene? Remember when she got shot and she was like, was that girl, the other black girl? Was that an addition?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, because I remember Marlene being by herself.
It's not really it kind of makes sense given the context, because they made Robert extra stupid here. Right. In the game, Robert only betrayed Tess and Joel. In here, he betrayed both of them. Because in the game he betrayed Joel and Tess in exchange for the Fireflies. Here he betrays both of them. That's why Marlene needed to bring extra manpower to take down Robert and his goons. So it makes sense that she's there.
Okay. All right. Like I am looking forward to tomorrow's episode. I definitely am. I for one am hoping that the show continues to do well. I hope in the already, season 2 has already been, greenlit. I hope season 2 does change the stuff that the fans hated. But given Neil Druckmann and the way he is, I don't think that's gonna happen. I think the sequence of events are gonna play out the way it was. The first episode, Joe's dead. Season 2. It's like
I would think there's some that scene is not gonna change for sure. That's my thing. But I think there is still that chance that it will be sequenced correctly, which I'm hoping. If it's sequenced correctly, then I'm kind of fine with it already.
Okay. What's it called? Like climate change. But the reason why everything is happening in the world and all these gun violence that's happening, right? It's climate change. Ellie gained more trust from Joe when him and Bill pushed the truck while she had to put the truck in the gear. She steals Bill's comics and in the back of the truck starts reading them. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
Man. So I was listening to Melanie Mac's review on episode 1, and then the screenshots she's been using was like the PS3 one. I'm like, and I played the PS5 remaster.
Yeah.
wow, the game was a major update. I'm like, holy crap, the game looks, it's like it's so different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
If
go
there
ahead.
was no PS4 in between, it'll probably be well received. It's just that it got remastered twice. I think
Yeah.
that's why the reception of the $70 price tag was so fierce in the gaming community.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can get it for cheaper now. It's not, you can get it for like 50 or maybe even lower, 40. So
Yeah,
which is reasonable.
and I know that the PlayStation Plus subscription, I think it's free.
Yeah, that it's free for the PS4 version, but not the version you got.
Oh yeah, the version I got looks good. It looks good.
Yeah,
It looks good,
yeah,
and
it's
it plays in 60, which is great.
yeah, and they incorporated a lot of Last of Us Part 2 stuff there in your version.
Oh, okay, okay. That pushes Joe to start collecting them. Yeah. So, yeah, the Lost Tales. Yes. Um. Yeah, I think that I do really like that. I do hope that like maybe it's like the end of the next episode, that Joel thing, the Joel and Ellie thing of the comic books is like, huh? I think Ellie might like this, and I think that'll be nice. Is because like some of that like minor stuff that the show, like TV shows that they cover, it's very good for character building, and
Yes,
makes them more relatable, right?
for sure.
Imagine if like he doesn't do that at all, or if Ellie doesn't learn how to whistle and he's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm trying to whistle. I never knew I can't whistle. And then if that wasn't brought up, um, no, and you know, I think there's a scene in where they first meet Bill, and then I think she said that, oh, make sure to follow me. It's like, how can, like, how can I
Yeah.
not miss you because you're so fat or something like that. Like that scene has to be in there is because
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
it's because she's a kid. Kids
yeah.
say that kind of shit, right?
Or the part, hey, did I say not to touch anything? Then he gives him the middle finger, which is also
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. But yeah, man. So far, as a person who played the DLC, who's playing the second, that's part two, who probably, what did you triple dip in part one?
Oh, how many times did I finish part 1? Either twice or thrice. Because I
Oh
got the
damn.
PS3 version when it first came out, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got the part 1. I got for PS4. Probably thrice. I probably So this is my second playthrough of part 2. Then hopefully I can finish it soon so I can make a video out of it.
How
Then
how are you liking the game, and how are you liking the show?
yeah, so far I'm liking the show. Again, I mean, I think like I mentioned to you on Discord, I think the thumbnail came across too strongly. Like it somehow, people somehow perceived that I was being negative about it, which I wasn't. Because if you see the comments, there's like, oh, the one network thing is like this, like that. Yeah, I'm still good with it, guys. I still like the TV show.
Mhm.
So far it hasn't deviated so much to the point that I'm starting to dislike it. It's still good. It's still good. It's just that, yeah, what we pointed out here today and what I pointed out in the video, those are just like some of a few, you can say it's nitpicking, but it could lead to something worse down the line, which I hope not. I hope not. So far
Yeah.
it's still good. It's like what Phil said. It's still very faithful to the source material, which we never got as much. Sorry, we never got as much until now. Like this show is nailing it in terms of adaptation and respecting the source material. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still good with it.
Cool. In terms of the as me, who is a person who's only played the first one and never played the DLC, I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. I think it's faithful when it needs to be, and if you're changing things like to have it make more sense, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the characters, and I do agree with Melanie Mack on this. I think some of the characters they uglified them. And I do know why they did it. It's because maybe this character has is a better cast for us because they fit the character better or something like that. Because I know that Tess in the remastered one, like she looks more feminine. Like I think her hair is actually tied up. She has like I think she has like
you mean
hair.
in your version, in the
Yeah,
PS5 version?
in the version that I played.
Yeah, she actually looks more realistic in your version compared. She looks actually more fresh in the older versions. She looks
Yeah.
more experience in Grae in the PS5 version, which I'm
Yeah,
all for.
yeah, and
Yeah,
but
actually,
other than that,
sorry,
yeah. No, no,
sorry.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Now that you mentioned DLC, it suddenly popped in my mind. I am more sure now that there's gonna be a flashback of the DLC. Because why? You remember in episode 2 the scene where they were crossing the bridge?
Mhm.
Tess was like, so how did you get that? She asked Ellie, how did you get that bite mark? Ellie was like, I was in the restricted mall. Like she was saying, right? Ellie said that to Tess. I was in
Mhm.
a restricted mall because I wanted to look around. I was like, I was just curious. Then Tess asked her, were you alone? She said yes. Ellie said yes. But that's actually a lie. That's actually the content of the DLC. She was with Riley at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a flashback of Riley, her and Riley in that QZ mall.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I
Freeway,
think
yes, freeway.
that 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 definitely does make sense. Oh, freeway. Oh, it's a freeway. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, freeway.
But yeah, it definitely does make sense to add in a DLC, especially for people who has never played it. And then like yeah, it makes sense for you. Why not add the downloadable content in your show? It's because that's important. And if representation towards the LGBTQ community is important, you need to show that. And like for like go ahead, like it's part of her character and stuff like that, and it plays a huge part in Last of Us Part 2, from what I know, and from the stuff I've seen. It's huge. It's literally about her and family and stuff like that, and especially at the tail end of Part 2, like it's something big happens to Riley, right? So it's like a big change in her life happens is because she chose violence over family. But yeah, so I do agree with you. It's pretty good so far. Um, I think flashbacks are probably the best way to go. Maybe they take like a quarter of an episode to sort of talk about that, or maybe
Yeah.
multiple flashbacks. Hopefully, it's not too long where it's like flashback is like half the episode or the entire episode. That's something that we don't want. It's because like, but unless they really want to show who Riley is and personality wise, then you
Yeah.
might have like more than half the episode to flashback. Right? Maybe she has like
Yeah.
who maybe something's in her backpack, and then Joel's like, "Who's
Yeah.
Riley?" And then it goes
Or
like, "Zhoosh,"
yeah,
something.
they will probably go back and forth. Like, what's gonna happen? My take is if ever they're gonna go the flashback route, which is looking more likely now that we think about it,
Mhm.
it's probably gonna go back and forth from present to flashback, to rationalize what Ellie was about to do in that episode. I think
Mhm.
that's what's gonna happen.
Okay, yeah. So far so good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's episode,
Mhm.
which is great. But let's go ahead and jump over to this article that I do want to talk about. So Grae, have you seen the original Blade?
Oh no! I have not gotten
You
to
have never
got
seen the original Blade. Okay.
yet any of
So
the movies. Any
so
of the
when
movies.
when I was a kid, I didn't know Blade was a Marvel comic thing. I thought it
Yeah.
was just a crazy vampire that can walk in daylight because he's a hybrid, right? And I didn't know it was a Marvel comic thing. Show him the nightclub scene with the doom 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 the crazy like rave. Is that that
Is it?
that won't be what's it called again? Too bloody, right? The blood orgy, right? What's it called? Blood rave. Blade, there it is. The music probably won't be able to make this into a clip is because the music will get copyrighted
Music.
like instantly.
Okay.
But yeah, but let's see. And, oh shit, hold on. Maybe mute so you don't get copyright or something. But the thing is that we're not monetized. We're not monetized. It don't matter.
Not
It don't
not
matter.
yet. Not yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, what's it called? To share this tab instead. So I'm just gonna make this volume go down a little bit. So, but there's basically a yeah, maybe mute it a little bit just in case. So let's go ahead and go over here. So let's start over here. Damn, I remember loving this movie as a kid. Yeah, I watched it as a kid. Basically, like this music is playing and it's like a crazy rave in the background, right? He's like, oh, cool, this music is pretty cool. What's so special about this? Right? And I loved this scene as a kid. Man, this was in my my playlist for like music. Right? Yeah, you're like, okay, cool. What is this about? Right. But I will watch it. Watch 1 and 2. I didn't watch the third one. Music by. Okay. Yeah, as a kid, I was like, what's going on here? This is a crazy rave, like underground rave. Those people dance so funny.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Just go like this. Yeah, Stan Lee, executive producer. Man, I didn't know as a kid this was a Marvel thing because it didn't say Marvel. Imagine if you're wearing that golf hat backwards. You think you're so cool. So just keep in mind that guy who bumped into them and gave him who mad dogged him. Just keep in mind that because there's an article I want to talk about. David S. Goyer? That name sounds familiar.
Oh.
He's giving him head. It's fine. It's fine. If it's on YouTube, you can watch it.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. So. What?
Yeah. You're like, what the hell's going on? What the hell is happening?
What's wrong, baby?
This is so crazy. Yep.
He's the only human here?
Yeah, he's the only human.
Oh.
And they basically, that girl lured him in there so they can kill him and eat him. And then.
Wait, chat says we're disconnected. Are we?
We might be because of the music. I'm not sure.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
The music, yeah. We might be because of the music. Hold on, give me a second.
Okay.
Yeah,
let me go to the restroom for a moment.
Okay.
Oh, we fixed it. Okay. BRB.